what's
happening in San Diego? And it is finally a Friday.
We are happy to be with you. Welcoming you in to another edition of Gwynn and Chris Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr. and Matt Scraby on San Diego's number one sports talk station 97.3 The Fan. Before we get started, are we having trouble with Tony's camera?
I got to plug it in. We got a little late start.
Plug in Tony's.
Got
a late start.
All right. Well, Tony is here.
So
if you're with us on the YouTube chat, he's definitely here. Tony, please prove that to everybody.
He's plugging it in right now.
Oh, he's plugging it in right now. So he can't prove that.
I'm here. Hold on.
There we go.
There we go.
I'll get it.
Good to be back with you guys. Yesterday was I guess you guys were keeping track of all of my texts, but it was a hellacious day of travel.
We were
absolutely nothing went my way. Or our way as a team. And so as a result, I'm sorry I didn't join you yesterday. I'll try to make up for it today. But you guys did not get the entire story of just how crazy it actually got.
Well, I tracked your flight online. We were updating.
Did you really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It was pretty accurate too, I must say.
I didn't know that charters. You could track charters, huh?
If they make it public information, but all I did was it was the only flight in the country from Reno to Laramie.
I'd imagine so. It was quite the long day. So you guys know that we were delayed at the beginning because there was a problem with the plane. And I texted Scraby and I said, well, they finally fixed the problem with the plane. But this is the very same plane that I'm about to get on. And I've never really been a fan of getting on a plane that just got fixed. Do you know
what was broken? Was it like a light bulb or something?
I have no idea. But my point being, it's a little uneasy, right?
No doubt.
You have to be trusting, very trusting in this situation that everything is fine. And then we ended up coming in. The flight took like 2 hours and 15 minutes maybe. And I had thought it was going to be on our itinerary. It says it was going to be on an hour and 15 minutes. So it took us a lot longer to get there and all of that. But here's the part that you guys didn't get in on. A couple of things. One thing that was also broken on the charter
internet
was a very necessary thing as far as I'm concerned.
The bathroom?
The bathroom.
Oh, no.
I mean, it was an hour and a half flight.
It wasn't an hour and a half. It was 2:15. I wasn't the only one on it, Scraby. There were, 25, 30 other people. It was not a comfortable circumstance. And also, you know how this works, Tony. If you know there's no bathroom anywhere in sight,
you definitely have
then
to
you always have to go.
For sure.
Right? So that was not a convenient thing. And then the final straw in the mix was this. The one kind of fun thing about a charter is that about half an hour into the flight, there's always one stewardess on there because there's only 30 people. And the one stewardess will bring around a bunch of treats for everybody. And there's a bunch of snacks and chips and candy and fun stuff that you can choose from. Well, this never happened. And so we were without any of our snacks. We come to the lady who was the flight attendant. She never even left her perch from sitting in front of the cockpit area. She never even walked to the back of the plane. So it was very, I don't know.
They were trying to get y'all up off of that plane. Like, let's hurry up and get
this over. It's a charter,
right? It's a charter. I don't know, but usually the stewardess kind of mixes and comes back and talks to everybody and gives you drinks and gives you this and gives you. We never got a drink. We never got a snack. We never got anything. We had no bathroom. And then as we're coming down, getting ready to land, the stewardess gets on the microphone and she goes, "Hi, everybody. Welcome to Wyoming. I'm sorry. I know I was the worst flight attendant in the history of flight."
Did she really say that?
She really said that, and she told us why, because she found out just before the flight that her granddaddy had died.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
so now,
stop it, Scraby. You stop. Stop, Scraby.
I know it's emotional, Scrabe, But my point is now we had to go from being mad at her to feeling sorry for her.
She should have said that before.
She was
Right,
she
she should
literally
have said
just
before.
found out. Like she's
I guess
probably
you just-
processing it, man.
I don't know.
She might have been
Anyway,
extremely close to her grandmother.
She must have been
grandfather,
close to her
excuse me.
granddad. Yeah.
I'm not.
Anyway,
I'm not like saying that she's wrong for feeling bad about her
But your
grandfather
first
passing
thought,
away.
the first thing out of your mouth though was, "Oh, I mean, it is her job."
Do you guys-
come on, man?
Do you
He's like, how do you not serve it? I was a little thirsty on that flight. I got to tell you.
Do you know? Remember when my grandma died in like 2019? I came to work as she was passing away because I wanted to be at work and I did my job.
Well, this lady came to
You're
work.
also
She was
a
at work.
psychopath, though, too.
okay,
so,
fine, that is
like,
true.
Come on, man.
She was at work. So anyway, well, we got here. We're safe and sound. And actually, it's incredibly warm weather out here. I sent you guys a picture earlier.
Didn't look
the sun
warm.
is out.
I saw snow on the ground.
There is definitely snow on the ground, but there's sun in the sky, which is something I have never seen in all of my previous visits to Laramie. So there's a little shot of it there if you're watching YouTube. Anyway, we welcome you to the show today. Lots to get done. We got Brent Sobleski joining us in the 2 o'clock hour. For those of you who follow the show, you know that there's nobody more, in-depth and informative on the National Football League. And he will have everything for us, I'm sure the latest on all the coaching searches and everything going on, as well as a little look ahead to the playoffs. We ourselves will preview the playoffs the way only we can do it in the 3 o'clock hour with our NFL Pick'em. Tony is the regular season champ, but we know that Scraby, right? Only the real players come out to play in the postseason.
That's right.
So-
Oh yeah. I think I came in last by a lot last year.
Try to take you down in the postseason, Tony. So our picks will come up in the 3 o'clock hour. Obviously, we have a Daily Gambit. We got Chris versus the fans. We have a Big Five. And it is finally a Friday, so we'll wrap things up on the program later on with our countdown. And I'll give you a little clue. We're going to be looking ahead to what's coming up in 2025. So that is all coming our way. Now, I didn't get a chance to get in on this yesterday, but the Padres agreed to terms with everybody except for Michael King, right? So that's the big, I'm sure that's kind of the big story in terms of, Padre fans right now. Let me ask you this, Tony, just because I don't 100% understand how this all works. They haven't come to terms with him. They still have some more negotiating time before actual arbitration.
Correct.
But let's say they lose the arbitration, or even let's say they win the arbitration. The bottom line is Michael King is still property of the Padres, right?
Correct.
This doesn't give him any freedom
None.
to go seek employment elsewhere.
None. The Padres would have had to
Okay.
non-tender him in order for that to
Got
be the
it.
case,
Okay.
and that would be foolish.
All right. So if anybody's really worried about Michael King not being, having come to terms, there's nothing to worry about. This has absolutely nothing to do with us as fans. Michael King is not going anywhere. I'm a little surprised at the difference in the offer that the Padres gave, and then the offer that Michael King or the amount that Michael King wants. Scrape, only like a little more than $1 million is separating the two sides.
I think it's like one
Seems
point.
like they could have come with an agreement.
Yeah, 1.475, something like that.
Yeah, it's a small number. It's not. This. Scrape and I were talking about this before the show. It could mean a host of different things. I mean, maybe they decided that, they want to push it aside and try to come to terms on a long-term deal. Maybe it's they genuinely couldn't agree on the 1 point, whatever it is, and the midpoint. There's a host of different reasons. I would guess, given the number so small, that they probably might be trying to work out a long-term deal. That would be my guess.
Well, let's hope that's true then. Let's hope that that's the case. I'm not obviously an arbitrator in any way, shape, or form.
What?
But judging, yeah, I know. But judging, well, actually, I am when there's a high school
That's
basketball.
true. You are. You are the
I am an
arbiter of the
arbitrator.
show.
Yeah, right. No, what I was going to say, though, just judging from the kind of money that they're handing out, hand over fist to pitchers around Major League Baseball, I would think that Michael King stands a decent chance of winning this arbitration. I mean, $8.8 million doesn't seem like a whole lot when I start comparing it to a lot of what other pitchers are getting based on what he's accomplished versus what some of them have accomplished. But we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully you're right, Tony. Hopefully it's a contract extension. They'll get everything worked out, and everything will be all hunky-dory with Michael King. As far as the other guys are concerned, now that Arise, they've come to terms with him. Now that they've come to terms with Cease, those two especially, because their names are mentioned in this trade talk all the time. Does the fact that they've come to terms with these guys make it easier, harder, more likely, less likely that they would trade them?
How about,
or does it mean anything?
I don't think none of the above, because
none of the above. Okay.
All the teams knew the range in which they would probably land at arbitration-wise, and therefore, if they have engaged in those talks, they knew going ahead of time what the number would likely be,
about what they'd be paid.
Right, and so I don't think it has any effect at all, unless the only time that would come into play is if it was like a number of 7 was expected and you ended up at like 15. That's an $8 million difference. It might change some ideas in terms of who wants to move for you, but I think the teams that who are reportedly involved certainly had an idea what the number was going to be anyway.
All right. Well, we are underway for a Friday. We're going to go to our first break here. When we come back, a great college football game last night.
Great college football game.
Even if I don't care who you're rooting for, that was a hell of a game. We'll talk about Notre Dame, Penn State. Look ahead to Texas, Ohio State tonight. And I want to say one quick thing before we go to our break. Tony looks incredibly cool with a knit cap on, and I look like the all-time goof with a knit cap on. So I will be getting rid of my knit cap during the break.
I think it looks
fine. Look at the guy. He looks like he was made to wear that thing.
I think, Tony has a different head shape than you do, Chris.
I think
it
got
looks
a little
okay.
pinhead, so it does.
We need you to turn on your little light that you have on your camera.
It's on, but I'm trying to. I know it's. I don't know why this side of my face is not.
Oh, M.
up.
McKee said you look great.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to break, and I'll decide whether to bring back the knit cap. But Gwynn and Chris is underway on 97.3 The Fan.
Everybody ready for the weekend. Worked their tails off all week. Need a little
Some of us.
Yeah. Well,
Some
all
of us also sat on a plane.
Oh, listen to you. Sounded like they sat on a plane with no food, no drink, no
No
bathroom.
food, no drink, no bathroom. Come
You know
on.
what?
All of the
That-
comforts of home.
Is karma.
Okay, I see.
Okay.
I see.
All right, so when Tony has a long road trip and has to miss the show, then he shouldn't have any food or bathroom either.
I
Is
will
that what
talk to
you're
the
saying?
Padres about it.
Good luck.
I'm sure
gonna-
you will.
There's a reason why I roll with the people I roll with. I know they're going to always be tap food and bathroom and drink.
I'm gonna
right.
call up Mr. Grubner. I'm gonna say, Mr. Grubner, when you guys are late, you need to take Tony's food away, just like Michael Jordan took Horace Grant's food away.
Just
Okay.
mine, son. Nevertheless, 219, talking a little college football. A great, terrific game last night. Penn State really dominated the first half of that game, maybe a little bit more. I think they scored the first 10. Notre Dame scored the next 17, and then the Penn State scored the next 14, and then boom. That game was kind of, I mean, it was a good game, but no action really through the first half, and then the second half happened. Really, the fourth quarter happened, and just scoring bonanza took off. A terrific game. I thought both sides did a good job. I know my man James Franklin is going to take a beating today because his Penn State team had the lead, gave it up, got back in it, and he ends up on the wrong side of another big-time matchup for his team. But I don't know that there was anything that he did wrong.
I was
in
gonna
the
say
game.
Drew Aller threw a terrible
his
pass.
quarterback, Chris. Listen, just had a bad day all game. Really, he missed quite a few throws, and that's not the quarterback that they had seen really all year. He had been big in those moments. Yesterday was seemingly one of those days where he didn't have a good one, and he picked a bad time to have a bad one.
Yeah, I'm not a James Franklin fan, and this game didn't change my opinion because I do think that, maybe he just, isn't. Well, let me put it a different way, because I think it is a little unfair to say he can't win the big one. His record says so.
Right.
But he wins a lot of big ones to get to the big one.
Right.
He does. Every year he wins 10 games,
Yep.
11
Yep.
games. Some of those are big games. They just don't, show up as a game against a top 5 opponent. So I think that part's unfair. I think the fact that he's just not really a likable guy, that's kind of what sticks with me with James Franklin. And I'll leave it at that. His comments at the beginning of the week about Notre Dame were just not necessary. But he is getting some flack because people are saying he made a mistake and at the end of the game by trying to go down and kick a winning field goal, that he should have just sat on the ball and played for overtime. And I just want to say that the guy who said that is Paul Feinbaum.
Yes.
And I wish somebody would take the microphone away from this idiot. He doesn't know anything about football. If he really thinks Penn State should have not taken a free opportunity to try and win the game and get down the field, they needed 30, 35 yards to have a chance to win. And it's after the game to say he shouldn't have gone for it is just not fair criticism.
No, it's not.
It really isn't. The kid on Notre Dame, by the way, made an incredible diving interception.
Yes, he
So
did.
can we give some credit to the kid for making an interception instead of blaming it all on the coach who shouldn't have gone for it?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're trying to take away from what was just a great game all the way around.
I don't know that that's Paul's lane. His cup of tea is actually talking about the game. He's usually talking about the things on the outside of the game, the coaches, the moves they made. Here's the deal, and I took great pleasure in watching Get Up this morning and seeing Louis Riddick and a few of the NFL guys after they played the clip of Paul Feinbaum basically go, what are you talking about? Like, so
Thank
you
Good.
just sit on the ball, go to overtime, and possibly lose there, and lose the game, and then get criticized because you didn't take a shot. And I think one of the things that Paul Feinbaum said that it stood out in my mind because it was such a oxymoron. He was talking about taking safe shots down the field. Like, the reason why it's called a shot is because it's not safe. That's the whole premise of the idea of taking a shot. It's not safe, but we're going to take a shot. And, I just that part of the criticism.
He showed just how stupid he really is and why ESPN really bothers me that they give him such a huge platform. It really does.
I feel like those dudes placate to him, too, because they know they could just smash on him all day. Instead, they just play nice all the time.
Yeah.
I thought.
Right, so let's stop talking about him, Tony.
Yeah,
let's talk about, you're right, what a game.
Great
game.
The
Penn State running back runs 3 touchdowns.
That dude is a little
number 40
bowling ball.
Yes, and number 44 on Penn State. If somebody doesn't draft him that needs a tight end, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Because if he's not going to be Brock Bowers or Kelsey or, just the next great tight end, then I don't know. My eyes are deceiving me. Because that guy looks amazing.
I don't know what his professional prospects were, but if they weren't anything yesterday, I feel like he might have put himself on the radar.
Are we talking number 44?
Yeah.
Yeah, for Penn State. Who's going to tackle that guy?
I mean, in the NFL, though, everybody's that big.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I will say,
I'm telling you what, Brock Bowers is still getting open and making plays because of his size. Scrabe. This guy's bigger than Brock Bowers, and he looks just as fast.
I will say this. The one thing I kept thinking about was all of the, grumbling about the first 2 rounds, and there not being good games. Good. And all of a sudden, we get to the Final Four. That is exactly how it's supposed to look. Those 2 teams matched up well. We got another good matchup here tonight. The betting favorite is Ohio State, but I'm not so sure this is going to be a blowout. And so I enjoyed the game mainly because it was close. It was well coached on both sides. And, despite all the heartache about how bad the early rounds are, that's probably what they're supposed to look like. Remember, you're no longer in a Final Four immediately. You've added 12 teams to the mix, so they ain't going to all match up perfectly well every single game. And so I thought this was one of the best games. This is right there with the Arizona State-Texas game in the previous round, to me.
Can I say – go ahead, Tony.
No, go ahead.
No, you're right. I just wanted to say one thing, too, about the backup quarterback for Notre Dame. There's no way they win that game if that guy doesn't come in at the end of the half totally cold, ice cold off the bench, facing a Penn State team that is devouring his offensive line. He has 2 guys on that offensive line that are injured, and he comes in and he immediately throws 6 for 7 and gets them down into field goal range and gave them a little momentum going into halftime. I love stuff like that. And I tell you what, no Notre Dame fan will ever forget this guy, but the rest of us will forget him by tomorrow afternoon. But and then, the starter came back in, the coaching adjustments, obviously Notre Dame made some big time run blocking adjustments in the second half to start getting their guys, free. I just enjoyed it thoroughly. So
Chris,
good job, both guys.
Did you watch the entire 4th quarter?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Okay, so the announcers. Did you feel like Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy were kind of fighting a little bit about analysis? Because I felt like Sean McDonough kept talking over McElroy's analysis. And it was getting a little awkward to me because...
I'm interested to hear your read on this,
because Sean McDonough is a play-by-play guy. He's not supposed to give analysis until the analyst gives analysis. Did you hear any of this last night?
Well, first of all, here's the one thing I was thinking about the broadcasting. With that great of a game, thank God Joe Tessitore wasn't he personally would have had a heart attack. He personally would have had a heart attack. He would have never made it through that game. But secondly, McDonough's been around for so long. I think that he feels like he's got, the veterans carte blanche to talk over McElroy, who's kind of a newer analysis. But I will say this, McElroy said something really stupid before that last drive.
What did he say?
And it turned out to be stupid. He said that Drew Allard is the perfect guy to get the ball right now because he's not going to take any chances and he never makes a mistake.
Yeah, he probably wants that one back.
He wants that one back, believe me, because really, Allard had already thrown 2 interceptions in the game, but just both of them got called back because of penalties. one of them which was kind of controversial. So, look, the game had a little bit of everything. The guy who makes the big plays for Notre Dame, what's his name? Great Hope, great guy,
Great
wide
Will?
receiver.
I can't remember.
It was great.
It was like two. It was like two words put together. I can't remember what it is.
It was
Oh,
great
yeah.
something. Look it up, Scrape.
I'm
There
looking.
somewhere. He had a great game. The old great whatever his name was, but just really fun
Great house.
football game.
Great house.
Great house. Yeah, he was really good. And the kicker comes through, and I don't know. Did you guys see? I'm sure you've seen it. The last kick to win the game. When it starts out,
It started
Tony,
right, didn't it?
It started like it was going to go to right, and I swear, touchdown Jesus blew it back in between the
Hey,
goalposts.
he's not lying. That
And
ball
it's-
had some serious slide to it because it started
Yeah.
out like, oh, that ball's gonna hit the pole, and then
Yeah.
it just like a little gradual little move from right to left, put it right between the uprights. It was good. That was a great game, man. Great game.
Loved it. All right, we'll talk a little more about this next game tonight because I think tonight's going to be another great game. I think people are overrating Ohio State a little bit. Not that they don't deserve it, but can they really play another perfect game like they did in the Rose Bowl?
I mean, they played
that
two
remains
perfect
to be
games.
seen because they were really perfect in the Rose Bowl. It's going to be hard to duplicate that.
Scrub, where are we going next? Do we have a?
Mr. Sobleski.
Oh, that's right. Mr. Sobleski, talk a little NFL. Get ready for week 1 of the playoffs coming up.
Super Wild Card Weekend.
Super wild card weekend. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
Ben and Woods on the
All right, welcome back to the program. Chris Ello coming to you from sunny Laramie, Wyoming. Yeah, sunny Laramie, Wyoming. It's cold out, but it's sunny nonetheless. Mike Scraby.
Never
Matt
been called Mike before.
You don't even look like
I
a
know.
Mike.
I don't think I've ever called you that.
You don't look
Tony
like
Gwynn
Mike.
Jr. there on the Odyssey Palace Studios in San Diego. We're kicking off the weekend with another good old Gwynn and Chris get together here. Brett Zableski is going to join us to talk NFL playoffs. It all gets underway tomorrow. Chargers taking on the Houston Texans tomorrow night. If you can watch it on Prime Video, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. And then Sunday, it'd be 3 games. You get 3 games on Sunday. Starts off with the Bills hosting the Broncos. Continues with the Eagles and the Bucks. And then Sunday night, it is the not the Eagles and the Bucks and the Commanders. Come on, Chris, get it right.
It's all good.
Eagles and Packers is the final game. And then Monday night in Glendale, Arizona, the Vikings and the Rams.
Which I have a friend who has Rams season tickets. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and she was keeping
How are they
me up to
handling
date.
that?
Well, here's the thing: is they're trying to make it right, and they're trying to get you some tickets. But getting there is another thing. She looked into flights yesterday, right after they announced it.
Oh, we looked in the flights
Yeah,
right
San
after they
Diego to
announced it.
Phoenix is like $500 to $700 for what she was looking at. And
Oh my goodness! How about getting
Just-
somebody
just to-
like Tony, somebody like Tony Gwynn Jr. to drive you over there? He loves to make those drives. to
Oh yeah, he
Phoenix.
loves the Phoenix to
Well,
San Diego
it's,
drive.
it's funny you bring that up. I happen to be going to Phoenix Sunday morning
See,
for
there you go.
to take my daughter for an unofficial visit, and the ticket we got was about $150, and so that's how much the price of ticket has gone up on that day to go from here, and that's from here to.
Has it just gone up? Do you think because of the game was moved there?
I'm looking to see if it's
You
gone
think
up
like
even more.
all airline companies are saying, well, the NFL moved the game to Phoenix, so we're going to make it more expensive for people to fly from LA to Phoenix?
That would be something.
It would be something. I'm
That
looking
would be
right
really
now because-
amazing. I can't put it past them, I guess.
No, you can't put it past them because they would definitely do something like that. But I'll get a number here in just a second, and then I'll call Brent Zableski.
Now,
as
granted,
well.
I got my ticket a couple weeks ago, so I mean, you obviously
Right, that's what I'm saying, Tony.
you get tickets.
So what I'm saying is like a week, 5 days ago, I wonder if that ticket was still $150.
Well, you can fly either.
and then when it looked like they
Sorry,
might have to
I'm
move
sorry,
the
guys.
game, they jack it up to $700.
I know what you're gonna say.
It looks like if you want to take Frontier, you can for $321 round trip, but that doesn't include everything else that you have to pay for.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'm not trying.
I don't even know if that includes a bathroom on
What's
Frontier.
the other airline?
Spirit.
Are they connected?
No, I don't think so. But $278 for Spirit. But Spirit's not an airline.
No,
I've flown it once. It was a bad experience.
That was enough for me.
I didn't know you had to pay to print your boarding pass at the airport.
Yeah, dog.
I didn't know that.
It's a different ball game.
It totally is. But if you're looking at Southwest, $461. An American Airlines flight,
up.
$461. Most of it's $461. So that's insane.
That's too much. Too much. I'll watch on. I'll pay the $10 to subscribe to Paramount Plus or whatever I got.
Oh, Rod says everybody hop in Stephen Woods' Sprinter van and make the trip out to Phoenix. I agree with that. Woodsy, start selling tickets.
He does got that nice new Sprinter van.
It's really
I
nice.
saw it. Yeah, it is.
How many does
Shout
it
out to
hold?
Woody.
Probably like 10. Maybe
It looks
8
like
to
it
10.
holds
Really?
it. I don't know if it holds that many, but it definitely looks like it. It's nice size.
All right. Do we have Mr. Sobleski?
He's getting him on the phone right now as we
Getting him
speak.
on the phone
Yes.
right now. Tony, are you going to be able to? So you're not going to be able to watch a lot of the playoff games, though. If you're going to be on the road Sunday.
Yeah, man, yeah, well, I'll be there early enough to watch some of the games. So
Are you going to go to the game on Monday night?
I am not. I will be back here in San Diego by Monday night.
You're driving to.
I'm at driving.
Oh, that's right. You're flying. Never mind. Brent's on the phone.
Well, we appreciate him joining us. Our guy, Brett Zableski, Bleacher Report, talking NFL and the playoffs, of course, starting this weekend. Brent, how are you doing today? Thanks so much for spending a little time with us.
No, thank you for having me. And let me first start by saying I hope everyone in California in general is doing well. They're safe. My oldest cousin on my father's side lives in the Los Angeles area. I have been in contact with them. They are doing well, so I hope that's the same for everybody else. I wish everyone the best they can possibly be in this situation.
Yeah, it's been a devastating few days in Los Angeles, just north of us, obviously, Brent. But we've been thinking about them and talking about it all week long for sure. With this backdrop, though, the playoffs do get underway, and it's a nice distraction, I think, for all of us. And I'm looking at the matchups. The one that's sticking out to me, honestly, for some reason, is Pittsburgh and Baltimore. And I know that that's got the biggest spread in terms of the odds, but I just think these two teams, the Mike Tomlin rivalry versus John Harbaugh, the way they play each other, it's always crazy. It's the AFC North, they're division rivals. I think this has a chance to be better than people think. What do you think?
I believe it has a chance to be better, but I'm not giving Pittsburgh much of a chance overall, if that makes any sense. And the reason why is this team is back their way into the postseason, right? Since beating Baltimore in Week 11, they've lost 5 of the next 7 games, right? Including their second meeting with Baltimore in Baltimore by 17 points. And the biggest issue I have with it is basically they just not have performed well, specifically at quarterback with Russell Wilson. When he first came in at quarterback, he seemed to really ignite that offense and have it rolling. But ever since, it's slowly devolved as the season's progressed. You haven't seen them be able to push the ball downfield with any consistency. You haven't seen explosive plays. And when you're playing Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and everything they have on offense for Baltimore, that's going to be a highly difficult proposition. Now, to your point, I think the defense can slow Lamar and company. There's obviously a history there, but just not enough to actually win in this contest.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly one of the bigger questions going into this playoff run, and it's not just Lamar Jackson and can he get over the hump, but also Josh Allen. They're taking on the Denver Broncos, who are playing some good football. But I mean, in terms of that matchup, do you give Denver much of a chance going into that place to play against that guy?
I'm in a very similar vein and discussing these for two. I am, because one, we can say whatever we want about Josh Allen, but not being first-team All-Pro, that's fodder in the locker room for those guys to rally around him, 100%. But the other thing is looking at, similarly to Pittsburgh, let's look at Denver right now, right? They lost 2 of their last 4 at the end of the season. Now, let's throw out the Kansas City game in Week 18 because Kansas City didn't play anybody, didn't care. Denver was just taking care of business as they should have. They lost the previous 2 games to the Los Angeles Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals. They should have lost to Indianapolis if Jonathan Taylor didn't inexplicably drop the football inches before he crossed the end zone. So they're not necessarily playing as well as the record indicates as of late.
Yeah.
And when you compare that to Buffalo as a whole with Josh Allen, who's now incentivized and has something to really push him forward, I don't think this is another example where it can be closer, but obviously Buffalo has a huge advantage just by their roster and ability of their team overall.
Brent Sobleski is Bleacher Report. He comes to us from the Cleveland area, and I bring this up because I don't know how much the Cleveland fans really feel sorry for the old San Diego Charger fans when it comes to lousy football. After all, the Browns have never been to a Super Bowl. The Chargers at least made one. But the question here is, and we've been wondering all year, Brent, is Jim Harbaugh good enough to overcome what the Charger fans like to call chargering at this time of season, where the Chargers always find a way to blow it, much as they did against Jacksonville a couple of years ago? Is Harbaugh poised to finally get them over?
I believe so, and at least to the point where they can be competitive outside or beyond the wild card round, right? I mean, let's look at Harbaugh's resume start. Going back to the San Diego Toreros, that man has won everywhere he's gone, and he instills a certain culture and players believe in it. And I think it presents a very good matchup for them this weekend in particular, right? You guys know me long enough. We've had plenty of these discussions over the years. It's all about the trenches. It's always about the trenches, right? With Texans, yes, their defense is good statistically, especially in advanced statistics, but they are actually worse against the run this year. You know Harbaugh is going to want to really establish the ground game and that physicality that he's so well known for on the offensive end. Conversely, when you look at Houston Texans offense, C.J. Stroud is the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL this year. The only player who sacked more than him was the rookie number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams. So it gives you an idea of where Houston is in their blocking protections. And Shaq Mason will not play in this game. They're starting right guard. So when you factor in that the Chargers are tied for 6th in the NFL in sacks, and they can create pressure with individuals instead of full-on pressure packages, I think it really plays into their favor against Houston.
Well, the game that's up in the air is the Bucks Commanders. Both of them have 2 quarterbacks playing some good football. Jaden Daniels is the rookie phenom. Obviously, Baker Mayfield has really had an exceptional year. How do you see this game breaking down? Because clearly, Tampa, when Baker gets it going, that offense can put some points up. We saw it multiple times, but we've also seen the same from the Commanders at times.
You're absolutely right. This is the one I think it's a coin flip. And you mentioned Cleveland earlier and all the things that's gone wrong. You have Deshaun Watson getting a second ACL injury and Baker Mayfield playing almost to MVP levels. What went wrong, guys? I mean, sorry. I'm not going to get over that one for a while. But, to this particular game, not only is Baker playing well, but what I'm most fascinated by is we know Todd Bowles is one of the most aggressive defensive play callers in the NFL. He's not going to take his foot off the gas pedal. And when you're facing a rookie in a big moment in his first postseason game, I think that gives Tampa Bay an advantage. They know, and they've been here, specifically Bowles, having coached through this, but also Baker's been through a couple playoff games himself, so clearly Mike Evans has. He's a Super Bowl champion. So I think they have what it takes to knock off an up-and-coming team in Washington who will continue to build in future years.
How about the quarterback situation with the Eagles and with the Packers? Jalen Hurts has passed the concussion protocol, so he'll be playing. Jordan Love has been cleared to play. But which guy is really going to be 100% in that game, and which guy could be less than 100%, and how much of a factor is that going to be in that Eagles-Packers game?
I'm always concerned when we're talking about concussion history, right?
Yeah.
That's always something that you can never fully know until you're back on the field. And furthermore, when it comes to Jalen Hurts, the reason it worries me more is because he's so much a part of that offense running the football, not just as a dual threat quarterback, but everyone knows the brotherly shove. Well, do you really want to to run the brotherly shove multiple times per game when you know he's going to get whacked going headfirst into piles? And that's really concerning because that's a weapon for Philadelphia. It absolutely is and has been for quite a few years now. So to me, looking at it, I think Philadelphia's clearly a better team. But if I have more concern for the quarterback, it's more towards Jalen Hurts than it is Jordan Love.
All right, let's talk about some of the kind of awards coming up. Clearly, the one that seems to be closest and neck and neck right now. And listen, it's no disrespect to Saquon Barkley, but I just know, having watched football, NFL, the quarterback is valued a little bit higher than the running back. So in between those two quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, both terrific years. Does Josh Allen get his first one, or does Lamar Jackson get his third one?
I think this is an argument over voter fatigue, right? This is the conversation that used to always be with Michael Jordan. You could give it to him every year, but should you? I really think it's Lamar Jackson's to lose, or should be. Do I believe he'll actually win it? No, that's the interesting aspect, right? Because of exactly what I just stated. I'm someone, now I do not have a vote, so I can just state that outright. But I am someone that if you do things in a league that's been around as long as any of these pro sports leagues that no one else has ever done, that almost automatically takes you to the top of the list. And that's what Lamar Jackson's doing this year. He's literally playing better than he's ever played before. He is setting records that we have never seen with his passing yards, 4,000 yards passing, 800 rushing yards. First player ever to do that. First player in NFL history to lead the NFL in pass yards per attempt and rush yards per carry. These things shouldn't be possible, and he's doing them. But we've become so accustomed to him being such a dynamic quarterback, and the question still lingers if he can actually push further in the playoffs, that I think that it will almost go to Josh Allen by default. Very deserving, but Lamar Jackson's been better.
Brent Sobleski from Bleacher Report. We just love having you on. I wish we could keep you on, for the entire show, especially with the playoffs coming up today. And I mean, there's so many other things I want to ask you about, but give us a quick take on the 6 coaching openings. It's probably a tad early to make predictions as to who's going to end up where, but obviously, with the Patriots, it seems like a Vrabel fit. You got Tom Brady, representing Las Vegas and putting calls into Bill Belichick. How do you give me just an overview of the coaching circus or carousel?
Well, first of all, let me put this out into the universe. If any NFL team wants to pay me hundreds of thousands of dollars to find them the same coaching candidates they're going to get from a headhunter service, I will gladly do it. Now that that's out there, clearly the Raiders are the most interesting because of the Tom Brady factor, because they decided to move away from Pierce and then move away from Tom Telesco, and not at the same time. I thought that was fascinating. Then you always have that factor. Is there going to be an Eli Manning moment with Shedeur Sanders where they manipulate the draft, potentially bringing Dion along as head coach? Now, clearly I'm saying that, escalating my voice a little bit with a question mark at the end. But I find it fascinating. I'm not saying it's the right move, but I find it fascinating. You bring up an interesting name, and I think the guy that should be the best fit for almost every situation would be Mike Vrabel. And the reason why, it's not the experience. It's the way he can change a culture within a team. Is he necessarily going to take you to the Super Bowl? No. But look at where Tennessee was. There were points when Tennessee was playing with him as head coach where we were like, he's out coaching Bill Belichick. Mm. They know their fundamentals and understand the game as well as any other team in the NFL. Now, when you're talking about teams like the Raiders or how far down the totem pole that the New England Patriots are falling, or even the Saints, teams along those lines, if you can bring a guy like that into your organization that will just have you prepared each and every week, that's a huge leap for most organizations. And that's to that point, that's what Dan Campbell brought to the Detroit Lions, right?
Yeah. It
was culture and accountability. And look at where they are now. Once they drafted well over a few years, and he was able to really build up that program and that culture, now they are essentially the Super Bowl favorite, if depending on how you feel about the Chiefs this year. So to me, that's who I find more fascinating than an actual opening.
Well, Brent, you were brilliant as always. Should we let him off the hook without a Super Bowl pick, Tony?
I was waiting for some college football playoff tonight.
Okay.
All right, we'll take a pick there.
Give us a pick there.
Yeah.
I'm in Ohio, and anyone who knows me knows this won't be a homer pick. I am not a homer pick. I did not go to Ohio State. Not a huge fan of the fan base here in this state, but that team is so loaded that yes, and even you look at their losses, right? It was a back and forth game with Oregon, the number one team in the country, and then you lose to your rival, which a lot of people would say it's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. Well, anything did happen, and now they're rolling through the postseason with the most talented roster that college football can pay for, and that's why I look at them as a team to beat. And furthermore, I do not trust Quinn Ewers at all at quarterback. If you remember anything during last season's college football playoff.
There it is.
Brent, we'll hold you to that one, and we'll get your Super Bowl pick down the road. But we really appreciate your time as always. It's just so cool to talk football with you, and I know I and Tony and our listeners always feel like we're a lot smarter after you come on the show. Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks again.
Man, Larry David's mad at you with the Happy New Year this late in the year. But
yes, he is. Yes, he is. He doesn't like that.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Brett.
I can see Larry David. I can see his face right now as you said that.
Yes.
Mike.
Yeah, Larry David said January 3rd was as late as you could wish. Too late after January 3rd to wish Happy New
I
Year.
kind of agree with him.
We know you do.
Well, he's not wrong.
We know you do.
He's not wrong, Chris says.
Of course you're going to agree with him when it's, against me.
It's like June
Appreciate
1st.
that.
Happy New Year.
All right, that's silly. That's silly, I say. All right, we got a Daily Gambit coming up. We'll look ahead a little bit more at tonight's Ohio State-Texas game. Whose side are we on? And get you some of the winners and losers when we come back. A good first hour on Gwynn and Chris. Thanks for being with us.
Hello. Into our number 2.
Hello.
3:01 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. The gang is all here. The second game of the Final Four takes place here tonight. Texas Longhorns taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State heavy favorites in this Final Four game. Got a good one last night. Certainly are hoping for one today. Chris, I think
we're going to get one. I do.
I do too.
I do. We'll see. I should say this to everybody. Before the college football playoff started, I picked Notre Dame to win it all.
I got them going to the
beating
final.
Oregon in the final. You, Tony, had Notre Dame versus Texas in the finals.
I know.
So you still have a chance to pick that exactly. Scraby, do you want me to tell everybody who you had? Or
I was out in the first round. I don't even remember who my championship was.
You had Oregon against Georgia, so that didn't happen.
We go.
You went the easy way.
Yeah, I did.
You went the easy way, and
help.
it didn't work for you. So, yeah, I'm excited about Notre Dame. We'll see if they can, stand up to whoever in the finals. But I just think Texas is a little better than people are thinking.
I do too.
And Ohio State, if they play that well again, then they're going to win again by 2 touchdowns. But that is a level that very few teams can get to in back-to-back games because they were just ridiculously good against Oregon. And like I said, if they're that good again, then forget it.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to be quite that perfect tonight.
I don't
We'll
know that any one of these quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks that are here, are good enough to go mistake-free, which to me makes both of these games, as we saw yesterday and as I think we'll see here tonight, makes these games, competitive games. If let's say you had, one of their top couple quarterbacks in the country in one of these games, it might kind of flip one way or the other. But I don't see that with these Final Four. They have some terrific, players at different positions, but I don't know that in any one of the 4 teams at the quarterback, which is usually the case, is the best player on the team.
Yeah, Ohio State's best player is clearly the wide receiver.
Yeah,
that
sure.
guy's ridiculous. Number 2. He's going to be the next Garrett Wilson or Jackson Smith and Jigba or, whoever you want to name from Ohio State. So, yeah, we'll see if Texas's cornerbacks can keep a little handle on him. But I'm enjoying this. This is really good football. And the Texas-Arizona State game, Texas showed a hell of a lot of moxie, man. They're down to 4th and 13.
Yeah, they did.
And their season's over. And that guy hits a perfect pass in there to the tight end, and they score.
Yeah, it wasn't even a first down. He got the touchdown on that play.
He got the touchdown, and that was 4th and 13. And also, don't forget one last thing that could come into play tonight. The game is being played right in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, it is.
There might be a few Longhorn fans at the game.
The Hook 'em Horns fans are going to be out.
Hook 'em Horns. We'll see what they do.
And plenty. All right, let's hop into our daily gambit so we can get our bets in specifically on this game.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Chris, yesterday we really tried to honor you. Tony came up with 2 bets. I only came up with 1. So...
They're not that hard to come up with, Scrabe.
That's how
there's
tough.
about 1 million betting websites. Go find a bet.
Chris, I can't lie. That's how rough the show was yesterday. I looked on there. There were like 4 NBA games that were worth it, and obviously the college football. That was it.
And in college basketball, there weren't any great games.
No.
But I do want to bring up.
You're right.
I
you're
do
right
want to
about
bring
that.
up,
It was
Chris,
a kind of
that USD only lost to
Yeah.
Gonzaga by 13
No
points.
kidding. I know. I mean, I hate to congratulate a coach and a team for only losing by 13 points.
Right.
But
It feels
if you
like
were ever
they
going to
deserve
do it, yeah, right. If you're ever going to do it, that would be the day to do it. Yeah, I was surprised to see them be that close to Gonzaga the other night.
All right, here's what
Good
we
job,
did.
Toreros, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. The game last night, Notre Dame and Penn State. Notre Dame the favorite, -1 on the spread. Tony chose Notre Dame. I chose Penn State. I lose. Tony wins. Notre Dame won 27-24. Then we had the Phoenix Suns and the Atlanta Hawks. Phoenix Suns were 6.5-point favorites. Both of us chose Phoenix. Both of us were correct. Suns won 123-115. And then finally, the last game, Rockets 1-point favorite over the Memphis Grizzlies. Tony chose Rockets. I chose Grizzlies. Rockets win.
Nothing but a
119-115.
little perfection on a 3 parlay day.
Yeah, you know what?
There you
That's
go.
pretty. A 3-bet day. You could put that in a parlay and
It's
make a
not
bunch of money.
not an 11-leg parlay like Scraby's talking about all the time. Just 3.
Chris
Three is,
missed our whole
three will pay off.
conversation yesterday about the
No, I mean, but you're
35
right,
leg
though.
parlay.
Some people honestly think they're going to hit those.
Yes, they do.
Like, really?
And they
Are you
go up
kidding
there
me?
often, making those same ridiculous bets.
Yeah. All I got to do is hit one. Yeah, and all you have to do is hit one lottery ticket too. But chances are you're still waiting.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm still beating myself up over not stopping in that lottery ticket store over the break because the $1 billion winner was in a store I passed.
This guy.
As we told you earlier in the week, Tony and I would have cheered that forever because you would have been set for life. You wouldn't have had to work anymore.
Yeah, I would have quit immediately. I would have sent a
I know
text
you would've.
message to Adam immediately saying, Adam, here's $1 million you quit to.
Wow. How about letting Tony and I quit?
Nah, he ain't worried about us. You
He
already
wasn't going to help us.
No,
oh,
you
thanks,
already
Greg.
knew that.
That's
Tony's already
it.
worth
Look
$1
out for
billion.
your boys.
He doesn't need $1 billion.
Tony's already worth- Oh, boy. All right. Let's get into our picks for tonight. It is Ohio State -6 against Texas. I heard something interesting today, even more reason why I'm going to bet on Texas tonight, because, and this is one of those ESPN gambling guys, but he brought up a good point. If Ohio State had played Texas 2 weeks ago, Texas might have actually been favored to beat Ohio State.
for sure.
But the fact that Ohio State looked so good against Oregon, you're now getting Texas +6 points. So he thinks that's really a great value. So I'm going to believe that guy, and I'm going to take Texas +6. Tony?
I'm also going to take Texas +6. I think that this team, although they are flawed, I think all of these teams are flawed. But I like the way Texas, they've been in multiple games this year that have been close games, and they seemingly come out on the right end of those. They keep this game close, I think it's going to be the same thing.
All right, Scrape, what do you want to do? I think everybody's betting on Ohio State. In fact, there was a story on that on ESPN today that the overwhelming amount of money's coming in on Ohio State,
Yep.
which, if you really want to know, is another reason to pick Texas. Because Vegas doesn't want to lose its shirt on this game. I'm just saying.
I am going to go with Texas, but I don't think they win.
Well, I didn't say they're going to win.
But yeah, I
Just
think
don't
they
have to
cover.
cover it, baby.
Yeah, I think they
All
cover.
right, so we're all going with Texas. All right, we'll see. We'll see when Ohio State leads 21-0 4 minutes into the game. It'll be the end of that. All right, we got a pretty good NBA game tonight. Just one to take a look at. Oklahoma City on the road at the Knicks. So two pretty good teams. OKC's favored by 4. Tony, Thunder had their winning streak broken by the Cavs the other night. Did they lose 2 in a row?
I think so. I think they're rolling
Okay.
into the Garden, and the Knicks are their weight. Now, Knicks haven't been playing their greatest. They got a win here their last time out. Karl Anthony Towns returned. We've talked about how good that trade has been. Remember, OKC, I believe, had won 14 straight before losing that game. So this might be a little downshift in the wins that they've had.
So are you choosing?
You go with the Knicks
Choose
plus
the
4.
Knicks, baby.
Okay. Knicks +4.
How about you, Scraby?
Knicks, baby.
Knicks, baby. I'm gonna go with OKC. I'm just gonna keep betting on them until they win me a bet.
I want to say it this way to see if I'm getting any close to being as cool as Tony. I'm taking OKC, dog.
Who are you, Randy Jackson?
Yeah, I'm trying to be Tony. He always says the dog. He throws that in there. All right, we got another good college game tonight. Maryland is 5.5 at home against UCLA men. I'm only putting this game in there because this is the first game for UCLA after the Ben Holland blow-up of the other day. Scraby, will it work for UCLA, or did they lose again?
I could honestly see this going either way, but I think in this day and age, being called delusional on the internet by your coach is not going to motivate you. I'm going to go with Maryland.
Maryland. All right, I'm going to take Maryland too, just because I don't think Ben Holland deserves to have that be effective. Plus, it's a cross-country road trip for UCLA. That is not easy. How about you, Tony?
I'm taking UCLA. I think these boys respond.
Okay.
They're going to respond.
They're going across. Let's see, boys, where your intestinal fortitude is at here when it comes to bouncing back after your coach basically called you a bunch of softies. And said the assistant coaches are lazy too. Hey, he got to call everybody out. Can't just be the players. And I think the thing that was more standout was the delusional comment. I mean
that's a crazy comment.
Soft we hear all the time. Delusional is you're digging a little deeper right there.
He said nice kids, but delusional.
He did say nice kids, but delusional.
He wanted to make sure that he got that in there before he totally ripped them apart.
I was thinking about this. If our boss called us delusional, I don't think any of us would be very happy about that. I don't think we would respond in a let's get fired up mode. I think we would all be pretty disgruntled.
What if we were delusional though?
Well,
of course we'd be disgruntled.
Well,
if
we
were
can't
delusional.
realize we're delusional because we're delusional.
Exactly.
So we have no idea.
I think that's where it's going to go anyway.
Okay.
All right, into the NFL playoffs we go. Now, we're going to do our NFL pick segment at the bottom of this hour. So you NFL fans stick around. We'll make our picks in every one of the games. So we're not going to bet odds on these games, but some prop bets. Who do you take here? Rushing yardage. Lamar Jackson, -7 against Josh Allen in his game.
Ooh.
And I believe, we've done 3, so I'm up. And Lamar Jackson is just due to have a great game, right? Everybody's pretty much sure it's going to happen. But he's never had great stats against Pittsburgh. I really, the last game was the only game he's ever had good stats against Pittsburgh, and J.J. Watt wasn't playing, and a couple of other guys. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen here to outrush, or with 7 additional yards. I'll take Josh Allen. But it's an interesting wager. Tony.
Lamar's giving 7 yards more, right?
Yep.
Or no, he's giving 7.
No, Lamar
yards.
-7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think in order for Baltimore to, not Baltimore. In order for Denver to win that game, they'd have to keep him under wraps, and they're not going to win this game. So I'm going to say Josh Allen as well.
Another Josh Allen plus the 7.
Wow.
How about you, Scrape?
I think Lamar's got that look in his eye. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to have a great playoffs. Don't know if they'll win the Super Bowl, but I think he has a great game tomorrow.
Well, the thing that I worry about with betting against Lamar, which I did, is that he can do a 65-yard run in 2 seconds.
Right. It's just one play.
And also a good point
it can
from
just
Dominic.
happen like that.
Dominic is our resident Baltimorean. I don't know if that's what you say, but he lives in Baltimore, and he's saying go with Lamar because no Zay Flowers. So he's going to have to run more.
He's not going to be able to throw.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one for you guys. Running backs. No, I like it's a good point. It's a point.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good one, Dominic. All right, you're right.
I'm going to be sensitive.
Here's a running back one. Who's rushing for more? Saquon Barkley, -3 against Derrick Henry.
Oh, man.
Tony, you're first on this one. Derrick Henry gets 3 more yards against Saquon Barkley, obviously in their respective games.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be Saquon. I think
Say quads.
I think say quads because I don't think that the Eagles are going to use Jalen Hurts like they have coming off of this concussion. I think the running portion is going to be solely Saquon Barkley in this game and whoever the other back is that comes in to spell him. Whereas Lamar is a bona fide threat as soon as they come out the huddle along with Derrick Henry. So I'm going to give it to say quads.
Scraby, how about you here?
I'm kind of forgetting who the Eagles are playing right now, and I was trying to look it up before you got to me.
They're playing
Eagles?
the Packers.
Okay, yeah.
The Packers. I thought they were playing the Commanders. Commanders are playing the Bucks.
Right.
Okay, here's Derrick Henry's last 3 games. 138 yards rushing, 147 yards rushing, 162 yards rushing. He was over 100 yards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. I'm going Derrick Henry.
King.
Okay. Plus you get 3 yards. I'm also going to go with Derrick Henry, and the reason I'm going with Derrick Henry is just simply this: the only games the Ravens have lost this year, really, is when they've been stupid enough
Not to give
to
him the
stop
ball.
giving the ball to Derrick Henry.
Very true.
And I just can't believe John Harbaugh is going to let that happen in this game. The Ravens can't lose this game, in the eyes of most people. And so I think he's going to give Derrick Henry the ball and not make that mistake. So
Yeah, you're
I'll
right.
take Derrick Henry.
Every loss
But,
this year has come when Derrick Henry has not hit 100 yards rushing.
Oh, they know that.
Well, he had the
So
one
does the other
game they
team.
totally went away from him. Yeah, they totally went away from him. All right, one more. This is passing yardage, and it's in the Packers-Eagles game. 2 injured quarterbacks. Who's going to throw for more? Jordan Love, -7, or Jalen Hurts? Scraby, you're up first.
Oh, gosh.
Jordan Love, -7, or Jalen Hurts?
Jordan Love
Packers,
is apparently healthy, and they're not worried about him at all.
All right, so is Hurts. So we'll
No,
see.
I know, but the Jalen Hurts
Make a
hasn't had
pick.
he hasn't had the passing yard. Oh my gosh! Look at the time.
Yes, make a pick.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love, he says, -7. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts here because I think A.J. Brown and Devontae are going to make a couple of big plays. Christian Watson not playing for the Packers. Tony, who you got?
Love.
Jordan Love as well. All right. There we go.
Let's get to break.
We're done.
When we come back, all pros have been named. Who won that top spot on the quarterback position? We'll tell you on the other side. More Gwynn and Chris. Here's some traffic.
From the 8.
right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 3:24 is the time. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, I really look forward to this part every year as the wild card NFL round gets started tomorrow. But our picks, all three of us will pick all 6 games, and we'll pick them in order of our confidence in each game. We have a lot of fun with it, and that's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Tony wanted to get to that all-pro team, and I totally want to as well. But I thought this story that came down just a little while ago, Tony, from J.J. Redick, the head coach of the Lakers, and he, telling the story, today about how he experienced, what he and his family have experienced this week. And there's, again, we mentioned it, every day this week. There's no way we can even be doing a show without thinking to these, people in Los Angeles.
Without a doubt.
But he was talking about how, everybody heard that he lost his home, but to hear him tell the story it's just scary. It honestly is. And Redick said today, because he got home Wednesday night at about 2 a.m., the fires had already been going. His family had already evacuated. So they were at a hotel. He met them at the hotel. Then he got up the next morning to drive out to Pacific Palisades to see the house. And he said, quote, "I was not prepared for what I saw. It's complete devastation and destruction. I had to go kind of a different way to the house, but I went through most of the Palisades village and it's all gone. And I don't think you can ever prepare yourself for something like that." And, he said, our home is gone. He's sharing a story that thousands of people have had to deal with this week. And, it's just difficult, to understand, how lucky all of us are right now. But, just to feel for those people and what they're going through up in Los Angeles. So,
he said,
we continue to send our best wishes, which is not really enough. But
he opened up on some of the items that perished in that fire. He said, my son did an art project last year. It was a charcoal pencil painting of a lighthouse that we had framed above the stairs. You can't ever replace stuff like that. Those are personal mementos that the families, and it's not just JJ's. It's unfortunately somewhere around 10,000 homes is we basically came to. That was going into yesterday. And these fires continue to burn, and it's just, as I said yesterday, it's heartbreaking. And JJ was able to kind of give you some, paint a visual of it for you in terms of what he experienced.
Yeah, it's tough, and I'm hearing people talking about it as of now that it's perhaps is the most devastating fire in United States history.
Yeah.
And I mean that's a sobering thought when you consider, what has happened up there. I hope that they can finally start to get some of this stuff under control and slow this thing down. But it's just been incredible. All right.
I don't know
the Pro Bowl today came out.
I don't know if we can do the
Sorry,
Pro Bowl.
I know. How do I?
No, we can't.
Yeah, how do I transition to that?
Tony's
pretty difficult.
Okay,
to
we'll
do
the Pro Bowl before we do Pick'em. Not the Pro Bowl, the All Pros.
Yeah, we should do it before the other side because we're already up against the clock.
Yeah,
here.
we'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll do the All Pros. Then we'll do our NFL Pick'em.
That sounds good to me. All right. Well, a little realism there for that segment, but we'll go back to the fun and games department and the NFL playoffs when Gwynn and Chris continues.
moving and grooving in this segment. All pros. Chris and I got to get our NFL playoff pick 'em in. Let's get started. NFL All Pros this year. Oh, great time. Great time in there, player. At the offensive end, there's a lot of questions. I mean, especially at the quarterback position. Josh Allen could win his first MVP. Lamar Jackson could win his third MVP. Joe Burrow, phenomenal year as well. Well, the answer is Lamar Jackson. He took the first team QB All-Pro spot. Saquon Barkley took the first team running back spot. Now, there's probably some good debate on that one, too. Derrick King Henry. But consider Saquon basically had to sit out a game in order to not break the record. He kind of solidified his spot at the at tight end position. Chris spoke his name earlier. Brock Bowers of the Raiders.
That's pretty impressive for a rookie.
You missed the fullback. How are you not going to give the fullback love?
I'm sorry. Patrick Ricard, who is
because nobody even knows who that is.
He's a beast of a guy for the Baltimore Ravens. He stands out.
Oh, yeah, he does.
As soon as you see him, you'll know who it is.
I didn't even know they still considered a fullback a position.
He's
in
one
the
of
NFL.
one of the few remaining fullbacks.
Him and
There's
Kyle
only a couple
Juszczyk.
of them in the league.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's the Ravens and the 49ers who really have fullbacks most of the time.
No, the Dolphins have one because they want to act like they're tough, but they're not tough.
At the wide receiver position, two former teammates, college teammates, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Lions took the 3 spots. I could give you the offensive linemen, but many of you don't know who these guys are.
I guess the only one...
Tristan?
There's 2 names.
Well, let me say this too, real quick. Tristan Wirfs became the first offensive lineman to be a first-team All-Pro at the left tackle position, and I think the right tackle position.
Oh, wow. That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. And Kansas City's got 2 guys on the offensive line. That bodes well for Patrick Mahomes' safety.
The crazy part is all year long they kept talking about, I think it was the left side.
Left side, strong side.
It was the left side of Patrick Mahomes, of him being protected. Remember, that was the talk of town for the first however many weeks that they kept squeaking by. But there you go. 2 guys on that line end up getting in the pro or as an all-pro.
Penei Sewell's the other name I think people know.
Lions.
Yeah.
Former rugby, right?
Probably. He's a massive human being.
Mr. Ella, you want to do the defense?
I'll give some highlights. Myles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson are the edge rushers. They're the guys that get to the quarterback. Cameron Hayward in the middle with Chris Jones of Kansas City. I don't know how Fred Warner, San Francisco, makes it, considering how bad they were this year, but I'll let Scraby.
I'm not going to bite. The guy does this all with a broken ankle.
He wants to take the bait so bad.
I'm not going to.
Well, you know what? I should be a lot nicer because Fred is a local product, right?
Yeah.
He's a San Diego guy who makes all pro. So congrats to Fred and
He's
his
probably
family.
listening right now, just upset.
I know,
with you.
and I'm just trying to. But I'm only ripping you, Fred, because of my partner. It's not because of you. So, defense: Patrick Surtain of Denver. See if he can cover Buffalo's receivers in the game on Saturday. Derek Stingley of Houston is the other cornerback. And special teams guys, there's some safeties. Nobody knows who they are. Place kicker Chris Boswell. Pittsburgh won it this year.
I was about to say, he
Because
only
he
missed like
basically
1 or
scored
2.
all their points.
Yeah.
He basically scored all their points.
Steelers fans will tell you, because we still haven't had the Mike Tomlin debate, but Steelers fans will tell you that.
We started talking about having it on
That
Monday.
was on Monday, yeah.
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 And I told people, because there are Steelers fans like, when you guys going to do the Tomlin debate? I'm like, it's going to happen today.
I think at this point, it just might as well wait until after their first round. Then we can
Might
have.
as well wait to
it
see
might
if he gets
strengthen your
fired
case.
Monday.
Oh,
It might strengthen your case,
It will
Brady.
strengthen my
Okay.
case. So.
We'll see.
All right.
All right. Better check traffic, Tony, and then we got to get our picks.
The long
I'm
snapper.
sorry, Andrew DePola.
DePaula.
Anybody can name what team he plays for, you go right to the head
Vikings.
of the NFL
No,
class.
you got a sheet in front of you. We wanted to see the check.
I wanted to see if
No, I
anybody else
have
knew.
no idea how you determine a long snapper.
DePala.
is an All-Pro. I guess you don't make a mistake the
Your
entire year.
snaps are right
But
there
nobody
every
makes a
time.
mistake on the long snapping.
It's pretty rare
guys
to
are all
see a
perfect.
mistake these days.
Yeah.
Pretty rare. Yeah.
All right. Let's check some traffic, and then we'll get into our NFL Pick'em Playoff Edition.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Couple crashes along eastbound 905, one right before Bayer Boulevard. It's been cleared up with the right shoulder. Up ahead, a crash on the Lamedia Road off-ramp. Also northbound 805, right before Sweetwater, an accident clearing out of lanes. Southbound side of the 805, just past El Cajon Boulevard, there's a collision blocking the two right lanes. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time for Tony and Chris to face off. Playing for a season-long prize of pride.
I see pride. I see power.
The guys make their picks, and then they stress over their picks all weekend.
No! Please, no! No! No!
Gwynn and Chris NFL Pick'em starts now.
All right, we are getting ready for the pick'em now. Tony was clearly the champion for the regular season.
The champ is here.
Congrats. He wins it for a second consecutive year, and he won it easily.
If I'm
by
not
the way.
mistaken, is this the first we've ever? I feel like we've alternated every year.
Yes. I don't believe there's been a back-to-back title, but you now have one.
Wow.
But as I told Scraby before, the real players come out in the postseason. So
Touche.
here we go. Scraby gets in on this as well, and we what we do is we pick all 6 games, but we pick them in a confidence order. So your first game is worth 6 points, and then 5 points. On down the line to the game you feel least confident about, you assign 1 point to that, and then we'll add up the points as we go along in the postseason. So here we go, guys. There's no particular game at hand. You have to say which game you think is your number one. And since you're the champ, Tony, I'll let you start. What is your 6-point game for the wild card round?
You know what's funny is we've been playing this playoff edition for, 5-6 years. And I always forget exactly how we do it.
How it works.
I wasn't exactly prepared to pick it in that way, but I can get to it. All right. What is this? Is this least, right?
No, this is your most confident game.
Most confident game.
Yeah, this is worth 6 points to you if you're right.
My most confident game is the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo.
That's my 6-pointer. Or wait, 6-pointer?
Do you have any analysis you want to share? Or are you
out of all of the matchups, if I'm being honest, it's the only one that I feel like is a beatdown. I think because Pittsburgh-Baltimore is a in division rivalry, you never know what can happen in that game. I know the Chargers have not charged this year, but I'm still waiting for them to charge her at some point.
At some point.
And I think the Texans, although C.J. Stroud hasn't played well as he did last year, I think it says something that he was able to kind of, despite that, not letting it all unravel and gets the playoff. I think that's a coin flip. I think Green Bay with Love and Philly with Jalen Hurts, as talented as the Eagles are, I still think that one is a little bit closer. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Buffalo as my big one.
All right,
Don't
Scraby,
let me
who do you
down,
like for
Josh
your-
Allen, please.
Scraby, who do you like for your big one, 6-pointer today?
I've
Who
been
do you feel
talking-
most comfortable with.
Mad trash. Don't think I've ever said mad trash in
I
my
don't think you
life,
have either.
but I've been talking mad trash about the Texans, so I'm gonna say the Chargers have the easiest win of the weekend. I do not think the
Really?
Texans are ready for the playoffs at all.
Really? You know what's funny is people thought the same thing last year, and then they humiliated Cleveland
they did.
in the first game.
With
so.
Joe
It's like,
Flacco,
this rookie's gonna get in there, and it's gonna be too fast for him.
they did say that.
You're picking for 6 points a team that has chargered for over 50
That
years.
he's literally watched most of too.
No kidding. I'm surprised that
Jim
you say it,
Harbaugh
but that's
seems to
fine.
have changed the culture.
He's buying into
Okay.
his former coach.
All right,
I am a
Chargers
little
is your
upset,
6
though, that
point.
Jim Harbaugh is having so much success. I only was hoping for him to be a good 49er coach.
Well, he was, and now he's a good Charger coach,
We'll
at
see.
least to start.
Yeah. All right. My 6-point game is the same as yours, Tony. Buffalo. Your analysis is perfect. I think the other 5 games could all go either way. If you really gave it some certain things happen.
Yeah.
This is a game I don't see can go either way.
Yeah.
I don't see how Denver's going to travel up there and beat Buffalo. This is a brand new experience for the Broncos. Buffalo's been there, done that. So I'll take Buffalo. And the one big thing that Denver has going for it is their great cornerback, just mentioned him, Patrick Surtain, who made the Pro Bowl. The problem is Buffalo doesn't have any number 1 wide receivers
Right.
for him to take away.
Can he guard Josh Allen? I guess that's the question we
Yeah,
ask.
he's got to guard Josh Allen, really, because Josh Allen throw to anybody out there.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I like that one. All right, 5-point game. It's your second most confident. Scraby, you're going to go first here for 5 points.
All right, you guys have already taken him off the board, but I'm going to take the Bills for the 5-point game.
Now you're going to take Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Got any other-
There's always that in the back of my head. There's always is Josh Allen gonna Josh Allen? So that's why.
When has he ever Josh Allen?
He's Josh Allen in the playoffs before.
He has?
That's this
It
whole.
just seems
Isn't
like
that
he
the
gets
knock
beat
on
by-
Josh Allen?
No. He gets beat by Patrick Mahomes every game, but I've never seen him choke a playoff game.
He's played well in all the playoffs. His team just hasn't won. Technically, he hasn't gotten his team over the hump. He did have that crazy loss to Patrick Mahomes that, I'm sure he's still losing.
I still think they win though, but it's always in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Okay. My 5-point game is next, and if you know one thing about me picking playoff games, it's that I don't like to pick rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs. It doesn't mean that they won't win, but they usually don't win. And there are 2 rookies starting in the playoffs this year. One of them I already picked against. That's Bo Nix of Denver. The other I'm going to pick against now. As good as Jalen Daniels was and is, it's still his first playoff game. I like Baker Mayfield and the experience. I'll take the Buccaneers for 5 points. Tony, you're next.
Little C.J. Stroud maybe there.
Yeah, right. Last year, C.J. Stroud defied those odds.
You gave me something to think about there with that pick, but I'm going to stick with my 5-pointer that I had initially. I think that's Philly. I think despite Jalen Hurts, coming off the concussion and likely the Eagles not using him the way they normally do, I still think the Eagles are supremely talented compared to the Green Bay Packers. And I think ultimately it's not going to be the offense for the Eagles that's the standout. It's going to be the defense. They can get after the quarterback with just 4. And I think that's going to be a huge factor in this game. And I think the Eagles they'll be that 5-pointer for me.
All right. I will tell you one person who does not agree with you is Bill Barnwell, the ESPN guy. He's picking the Packers to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, well,
I'm just throwing that in there.
Oh, that is Bill Barnwell.
All right. Yeah, right. 4-point game. For me, it's going to be the Vikings on Monday night. The Vikings very well might be the best wild card team ever in the history of the playoffs. There aren't too many 14-win wild card teams. Sam Darnold can't possibly play that bad again. But if he does, then they could be in trouble. I could certainly see the Rams winning. Obviously, some of the Rams' advantage is dissipated because they have to all go to Arizona. And I think the Vikings have a chance to make a postseason run with your guy, Kevin O'Connell. So I'll take the Vikings for 4. Tony, next, you're up.
Yeah, you gave me something to think about there again, man. I'm not liking this. All right, let's go. I got to go with the possible 3-time MVP and his squad on this one. I'm going Baltimore. They'll be my 4.
They haven't even been mentioned yet.
Yeah, they'll be my 4-point pick here. As much as this is a rivalry, I still think that the Ravens are superior, ultimately. And this, I'll save this point for whenever we do have the Mike Tomlin discussion. But I just think the Ravens have too much firepower, and I love the fact that Lamar is addressing why he thinks he has struggled in the playoffs prior to this year, and he said it boils down to being jittery and nervous and wanting to do too much. He said, I do my best when I'm relaxed, and after so many of these experiences, you finally do get to a point where you get centered and you can be relaxed. And if he gets to that, This is not going to be a close game. I think he does.
Scraby, what's your 4-point game? Good analysis there, Tony. Scrape?
I told Tony all that earlier when I told him I was taking the Ravens with my 4-point.
Oh, is that what you told him?
Just repeating your analysis.
I think I said it before. I think Lamar has that look in his eye, so 4 points for them.
Baltimore. All right, we're on to our 3-point game. Starting to get a little less confident now. Tony, it is your turn for 3 points. Who do you have?
3 points. Wow. Let's go with Tampa. 3 points.
Tampa Bay.
Baker, Mayfield, Mike Evans and company. Yeah.
Okay. Scraby, how about you?
By the way,
3
I want to
points.
say I looked up Josh Allen's playoff stats. It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I lumped him in with his team.
His playoffs has
Charging.
been
And
fantastic.
even his record isn't that bad in the playoffs. He just loses one every year, and that's the one that keeps
He's
him out of the
thrown
big game.
21 TDs to 4 interceptions in like 5,
How many
7,
fumbles?
9, 11. That's a good question. 9 fumbles, but only 2 lost.
And a lot of times when we were talking about it, it's not that they had lost the ball, but he'll be trying to keep up early in his career, especially.
Yeah.
Try to keep a play alive. The ball gets fumbled, and he ends up on the right side of it. It seems
does.
like, but I think that's in our head and why we think of it that way.
I'm gonna go with Jaden Daniels has been amazing this year. I don't know how far they're gonna go in the playoffs, but the Bucks barely made it in, so I'm gonna go with the Commanders.
All right. Washington gets some love from Scrabe with 3-pointer. I'll take the Chargers here in this spot for 3. I don't know. If they Charger, then they're never going to win a playoff game because they are so superior to Houston on both sides of the ball and on both lines of scrimmage and at quarterback. I can't see them losing this game, but again, it is the Chargers. So I'll take them for 3 points. All right, got to pick it up just a tad. Scraby for 2 points. Who do you have?
Eagles.
Eagles for 2. Okay, all right.
They played
that
week
confident
1.
in the
It was
Eagles.
Packers Eagles played week 1. It was a pretty good game. Came down to the end. So Eagles.
All right, I'm also taking the Eagles for 2 points. The thing that has me concerned is what Brent Sobleski said, and that is that there's no way Jalen Hurts is going to not only be able to run, but he's not going to be able to do that tush push. I can't believe they would call that. And that is such a big weapon for Philadelphia. It'll be interesting to see. Green Bay is much better than I think they are, but I do think Jordan Love will make a key mistake somewhere along the line. Tony, your 2-point pick. You've got the let's see. You got
Vikings, Rams, Chargers,
Right.
Texans, and I'm gonna go Chargers, go
Go Chargers, go
for my 2-point pick. Same
All right,
reason.
we're down to our. All right, we go down to our last one. My last game is Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and here's where I go a little cattywampus.
Oh.
I've seen Lamar Jackson dominate every team in NFL except for one, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you can look up all his numbers; they're not very good. The one game he had good against them this year, T.J. Watt was not playing. A couple of other Steeler guys were out. I think the Steelers are sick of losing for a month straight. I talked up a good game for Mike Tomlin, and I'm going to see if he can back me up and pull off a really big upset here. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh for 1 point there. Tony, you're down to the, I don't know which game.
Rams.
Minnesota and the Rams.
Give me the
Yeah, Monday
Rams.
night.
Give me the Rams. They pull
Rams.
off the upset.
Okay.
It's not technically
the
an upset,
Rams.
but
That's close. Yeah, it's a close spread. All right, Scraby, your last one is
Rams
the Ram
Vikings.
game also. Yeah.
I am going to stand with my former high school teammate.
Of course you
and
are.
I would hope
current
you would.
Homer.
NFL head coach of the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell. So I'm going to choose them.
He's a homer.
All right,
If
the
I was a
final
homer,
tallies-
wouldn't I choose the Rams?
No, you got to
they're
root
closer.
for your guy. Kevin O'Connell's like
That's
your
your
friend.
guy. That's your homer.
I know. He's my best friend.
All right, here's how it
He's
turned
my
out. We all three took Buffalo. We all three took Philly. 2 for Baltimore. I took Pittsburgh. 2 for Tampa Bay. Scraby took Washington. We all took the Chargers. and 2 for Minnesota with Tony taking the Rams.
Boom.
All right, we'll see how it all turns out.
Let's get to break. When we return, Scraby's favorite player just got suspended. We'll tell you on the other side. More Gwynn and Chris.
Can we come back now, Scrabe? Are you done?
Yes, I'm done disparaging
Going
my
on and
cousin.
on and on and on?
I'm done
His
disparaging my
diatribe is
cousin.
over.
God, he got onto a thing during the break about his cousin, and I thought it was never going to end.
Well,
goodness.
we have news up in here, and they were talking about the TikTok ban, so I asked the guys, like, how do you feel about the TikTok ban? And then I just took over the conversation and started yelling at my cousin.
I don't even know that he really wanted to know how we felt. He just wanted to
he just
find
wanted
a
to get
lane.
he just wanted to get his shots in at his cousin.
Yeah, my cousin uses TikTok basically for their livelihood, but they're not a very nice person, so I don't care if their TikTok livelihood gets taken away.
What about all the? We're not going to get into
the
a
other people,
TikTok conversation.
Let's not go there.
The other people I do
Let's
feel
not
bad
go.
for, but my cousin, no.
Not so much, huh?
All right.
It'd be
Awesome.
your own
One of those people who got a couple thousand followers and all of a sudden they're a celebrity.
brand new. They acting brand new on you. Huh?
Is that it? Okay. I like that.
If you don't
Brand
mind
new.
me, all right, can I interrupt you for a second, Scraby, so that we can do our show?
Please, go ahead.
Would that be a good thing? All right, we're into the 4 o'clock hour, third hour of the program. Gwynn and Chris on San Diego's #1 sports talk station. I know that Tony talked about telling you all about one of Scraby's favorite athletes who has been suspended.
Yeah.
We're going to keep you holding on for that for a minute
Hang with
because I believe we're into Chris versus the fans territory here.
We are indeed.
And Scraby also told me that he was going to mention that in the Big Five, his
He
player
did.
who
No,
got
hey,
he told me
suspended.
that too.
Hey,
He told me that
let's tell everybody who it is and what happened because I got a different question that you guys aren't even
Yeah,
gonna
you're probably right. Zion, your boy, missed a flight. Overslept, I'm assuming. Said he's been suspended for one game, violation of team policies. Sources told Shams that Williamson was late for Thursday's team flight to Philadelphia ahead of the game Friday night against the 76ers. The Pelicans traveling party was waiting for a period of time for Williamson to so he just didn't even show up. Let me tell you, as a former athlete that had to be on these planes, I don't know that there is a more anxiety-filled moment than when you're late for a bus or about to be late for a bus, or I've never been late for a plane, but I can only imagine pulling up in the plane and dudes are already in their seats waiting on you. Oh,
Yeah.
you will never
It's
hear
not a
the
good
end of that.
feeling.
No.
You have a conscience.
Not
I
a
don't
good
think
feeling
Zion
at all.
has a conscience. So
I've definitely had teammates that didn't have a conscience. They didn't hey, deal with
I would
it.
just like for $400 million or how much ever Zion has, that he spent a little bit of that money on an alarm clock. It really shouldn't be that
that's a good
tough.
point. Or he could pay someone to
goodness.
watch him sleep and then wake him up when he needs to wake up.
He conceivably could do that. Yes, he could. All right, so we'll get more on Zion and his suspension a little bit. But
I
first,
just knew Scraby would love that, so I had to get
Yeah,
that
he
in.
loves it. Oh, he is so excited by this news.
Well, it's kind of it's one of the most rude things I think you can do to other humans is be late for
just talked
for a
about it,
group
sure.
event.
Yeah, for sure.
well, it's tough.
you
Yeah,
feel
it's
better?
not good.
No,
Okay, you'll get some more in the Big Five,
Yeah.
so just
yeah,
we'll let
he's
it go.
number 5. That's how much I.
He wants to get right to it.
Yep,
when we
I
get
do.
there.
All right.
All right, Chris versus the fans, though, ahead of that right now.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
Howdy do.
now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. The prize for today. You'll be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a trip to Las Vegas to see Scorpions on March 6th, plus a 2-night
I'm
stay
surprised
at
you
Planet Hollywood
don't,
and a
I'm
$100
surprised you-
gas card.
I'm surprised you don't say Scorpions.
Scorpions.
The way
Is that
Tony
me?
says
That was
it.
me, wasn't it?
Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was like
Scorpions.
it was get over here.
Get over here.
I think that was our top 5 best finishing moves or something along those lines.
Something about video games.
Yeah.
Get
Video games.
over here.
Yeah, something like that.
Personally, I've never heard Scorpions, but I should probably listen to some over the weekend because they've been around for 60 years. And they've had a Las Vegas residency show for 60 years, apparently. Live, February 27th to March 11th at PH Live at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Now the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. And if you're a first-time player, let us know before we get into it. You'll get that question for free. Now, I'm just going to give you this. In the first question today, lots of fast food questions.
I think I might need a pea resistance a pea popper resistance.
Oh, I was like, what?
Because every time I say play it, like, but yeah, here, see, it just didn't.
No, we had those back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah,
they
those
were
sucked.
terrible.
That sucked.
They
That's
were
right. You're
terrible.
right. Let's go. Never mind. Forget I said it. All right, let's get to our first contestant.
Yes, let's go to. Let me get the thing up real quick. Let's go to. You know what? We haven't had Gilberto on in a while.
Gilberto, welcome back, my
estás?
friend.
Muy bien, Gilberto.
Hola muchachos, ¿cómo están?
Muy bien,
bien.
Here, Chris. Hey.
Here we go. First question. Scraby said it, so you already know what it is. Where would you find a Whopper at?
At Burger King.
Yeah, Hamburguesa King.
Where is what used to be the slogan for Burger King?
Have it your way.
Have it your way. There you go. It's still the slogan, isn't it?
I think it is, but there's that guy
it's,
now.
You rule.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. You rule.
BK. Have it your way. You rule.
All right.
I'm really over those commercials, by the way. I'm
No,
really
you're not.
over
It's
them.
You sound like it. You just pumped your fist in excitement.
Did you guys? My friend in college used to get extra mayo on his Whopper.
That's disgusting. I don't even want to continue this conversation.
There's already
now.
enough mayo on the Whopper.
Question number 2, Roberto.
Okay.
Where does former Brewer Willie Adames now play?
Now he's gonna be a gigante.
Gigante!
Oh, Los
Indeed.
Gigantes de San
Yes.
Francisco.
He is one of the many people that have migrated to the National League West that has made this division, I would say, one of the best, if not the
You
best.
mean basically every good player in baseball came to the West?
It kind of feels like that
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Seems that way, yeah.
All right, Roberto. Question number 3 for the win. Things get a little tricky here. Who was the first tennis player to claim 20 Grand Slam men's single titles?
That's gotta be Pete Sampras.
Ooh, Petey. I haven't heard Pete's name in a long time. I used to be
I'm sorry.
I used to be a Pete.
Sorry.
I used to be a
minute, you
Pete
got him all
Sampras
excited
hater.
there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Gilberto.
I used to be a Pete Sampras hater.
Why?
Because he used to beat Agassi all the time.
Oh, you're an
Oh,
Agassi
you were the
guy.
I
Agassi
loved
guy,
Agassi.
huh?
Why did you love Agassi? It's so
A,
random.
because he wore Nike. B, he always had like the cool stuff.
He did, he
was
did.
the young.
He was one of
young-
the first Nike guys
Yeah.
that was very cool, man,
Yeah.
with the whole advertising campaign. I forgot what his particular slogan was, but he was
can't
quite.
remember
It made him even more famous than he was.
Was it you rule?
No, it wasn't rule.
You rule.
Elo,
You
your
rule.
chance to steal.
I think Federer was the first to get to 20 guys. I know he's been passed, but I think he was the first to get there.
Roger Federer.
I'm sorry, Gilberto.
Sorry, Gilberto.
You were
Tennis
next
is
weekend,
kind of
guys.
my
See
alley.
you
Alright.
next week, and he was
Have a
entertaining.
nice
Roberto
weekend.
was entertaining. I enjoyed that.
Yes,
He's
he
always
is.
entertaining.
Here we go.
We love Roberto.
Second guest of the day.
Second guest is going to be. I'm looking. Vince.
Oh, Vince, come on down.
Do.
Hello?
Hello, Vince.
Hello,
How
Vince.
are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well, my friend. Here we go. First question.
First time player.
First time
Oh,
player. Here we go. Question number 2.
Kind of sad we don't get a fast food question.
No, right?
Oh.
Where did this old guy Justin Verlander just sign?
Verlander, Giants?
He also is a
Yeah.
giant.
Another Gigante.
Another Gigante.
On to question number 3. Chance to win it all.
Hey, in your first appearance, Vince.
What running back had the longest run of the season?
NFL season.
NFL season.
Ever or this year?
This year.
This year.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that word.
I'll go with the Eagles. Shoot, I can't think of his name now.
Can you give me a last name?
I'm trying to think of his name. The Eagles running back.
I'll take Eagles running back.
Eagles running back.
That's why I'm going to
not
take Eagles
because it's not correct. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one.
I'm not going to get this. Derrick Henry went 80-something yards. I got to go with that.
He's going with the king. He's going with the king. Also incorrect. We have ourselves a winner. Vince.
Stay right there.
It actually happened the last week of the season. It was
did.
Mr.
Oh,
Damian,
no wonder.
Damian Pierce, 92 to the house.
Yep, 92 to the house.
Damian Pierce, it was an exhibition game. Those don't count.
Came in weekend 18, so it counts.
You know how?
Yeah, it does.
You know, we've worked so close together for so long. I knew A, Chris was going to answer Derrick Henry, and I knew B, that he was going to be mad that it was in week 18.
You definitely know Chris well.
Yeah, well, you know, those are not even real games. Come on.
Yeah,
but you know what? For the record book, it's good for him. It'll always be in there.
Yeah, Damian Pierce, that's the only playing time he's getting this year.
I haven't even seen this guy in like 3 years.
Remember his rookie season? He was off to a heck of a start before he tore his knee up, and then hasn't really been the same since.
Yeah, that's true.
He was pretty
that's
good.
true.
But now they got Joe Mixon and no more Damian. Well, good for you, Vince. On your first try, you win it.
Yeah.
So good for you. And that's a good example for everybody who's out there says, I don't want to play. I don't know what'll happen. Hey, it's Vince's first time. He got one question right, got to the finals, and paid off. Now he might go to Las Vegas. So
get in where you fit in.
The rest of you guys ought to listen up. All right, we're going to take a break. Congratulations to Vince. He wins Chris First the Fans today. Still ahead, a big five at the bottom of this hour. The latest in sport. We got the college football game coming up, too, in a little while. So all the latest sports stuff, a recap of that when Gwynn and Chris continues after traffic.
From the 855.
Back at it again. 4:19 on the clock. 4:20 on the clock in 3 seconds. Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scravy, and Mr. Chris Ello out in
sunny Laramie.
Sunny but snowy Laramie.
Yeah, sunny and snowy.
I know what I want to talk about. I was kind of trying to go through some subjects, but can we talk about the two idiots that have now been suspended from Major League Baseball parks across the country?
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
and,
yes, please.
It's high time. What took Major League Baseball so long is what I'd like to know.
I don't know.
How was this even something they were considering that happened in October? This is 3 months later.
Yeah, it took a little too long. Now, of course, the two guys were suspended.
Hooligans?
Hooligans. There you go.
That works. Were already suspended by the Yankees. That took a little, I think, pressure from folks because I don't think they were initially suspended when it all went down. But MLB has banned the two gentlemen indefinitely attending any big league ballpark. So they can go catch a minor league game if they want. There's a couple teams out in New York they can go see some lower level baseball, but they will not be allowed to go to any big league parks in the near future. Now, the thing that I think I am irritated about is I don't know that they even care. They got their 15 minutes of fame. They're all over ESPN. They were the talk of baseball for the next, 2-3 days. And it may very well be worth never going to a baseball game again. It may be worth it. I don't know if they benefited off it, but I wouldn't be surprised. The league sent a letter to Austin. I don't even want to try his last name. And John P. Hansen this week informing them of the decision. Of course, you remember Mookie Betts went up to – he caught the ball. These fools tried to not only catch it with him, but they pinned his arm down and tried to remove the baseball out of his glove. And I commend Mookie. Mookie did not throw a punch. I played with plenty of cats that certainly would have get let off at least one right hand as they were coming down off of that fence. I'm glad he didn't. Part of me wish he did and landed on both of them, but it probably wouldn't have been a good thing for him. But nevertheless, these guys, Austin, Capobianco.
That's good enough.
That's pretty good.
Capobianco and John P. Hansen, they gone, at least for 2025.
Well, the thing is that this whole thing, the first thing is I'm going to say what I said is I don't understand how they didn't just ban him forever, like the next day. Like, I don't even know why this was even a thought. But if you recall, it was the Yankees who actually banned them from the game the next night, Game 5. And it wasn't Major League Baseball at all. The Yankees were the ones that had to jump in there because there was so much pressure on them.
Yeah.
Not to. At first, I think they were just going to let him
it
back
seemed
in.
like they were going to let him back in.
Right. I mean, and it's just insane to me what we are. And I don't know if it's just this country or just everywhere, maybe, but these guys were treated in New York like they were almost heroes for trying to do this. Like they were celebrities, like you just said, Tony. It is almost worth it to these guys to get the kind of celebrity they got, in exchange for not, being able to go see any more ball games. I just don't understand, A, their behavior, but B, our reaction to their behavior. That's what gets me. That's what really gets me in this whole thing.
You bring up a great point, and sadly, it might have been foreshadowing, right? I mean, when the CEO of the healthcare company gets, basically assassinated in public, it seemed like everybody was rooting for his assassination, basically.
It's very strange.
He was a good. They were also rooting for the guy who shot him because he was a good-looking guy.
Right?
Like, what?
It's just like,
where are our priorities? What are we doing here?
Yeah. So
does this mean Kate Upton can run around and commit crimes at will? I don't know what we're doing.
Don't make me answer that question on the air.
Why not?
The letter read this: based on your conduct. Well, I gave you that. I would read the whole thing, but it's not that serious. Based on your conduct, Major League Baseball is banning you indefinitely from all MLB stadiums, offices, and other facilities. The letter said you are hereby banned indefinitely from attending any event sponsored by or associated with MLB. Please be advised that if you are discovered at any MLB property or event, you will be removed from the premises and subject to arrest for trespassing. Now, it's funny. If you are discovered. A lot of people at the stadium.
Yeah, who's going to put a lot of time into trying to discover these guys?
I know how.
I know New York has facial recognition.
I was going to say, because
but all stadiums have that?
When I went to Wrigley, it was crazy. I'd never gone to a stadium with facial recognition. We just walked in. Like, no metal detectors. We just walked right in, and they, I guess, scanned our faces and said we're cool. But that's how they're going to do it. Remember James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks?
That's right. Oh, that's right.
He was using facial rec to get people out of his stadium that he didn't like.
It was somebody who was suing him.
Yes. He
right.
saw facial rec, spotted this person, and he had that person kicked out because he didn't like him.
So there you have it. Those two.
I mean, but seriously, if these guys go to a game in Kansas City and they walk in with a wig or something, they're gonna get spotted anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know exactly how it works. Right.
But I would think that these guys could probably find their way into a ballpark somewhere.
I would think so, but it's just I don't know what happens out there and the way we react to it. And Tony, you're right about this guy, on the healthcare, CEO. I mean, our priorities are a little wacky.
Well, it's even now with these fires. I mean, I was telling the guys earlier, I saw Paris Hilton put up a video this morning saying, her house is gone and that she lost all of her pictures and clothes and all that stuff and all the mementos. And if you read the comments, people are cheering for this to happen. And I'm a crazy person, but I'm not that crazy.
Yes,
I'm not that crazy. I'm not going to cheer for someone's house to burn down. But if you read the comments, they cheering on?
What are they cheering on? What basis? Because these people are wealthy and have a lot of things, so they should have them taken away by fire.
It's more that you can afford it, other people can't, to rebuild. And so why are you complaining when you're going to go stay in, and this is a comment I saw, why are you complaining when you're going to go to one of your 10 other houses that you have in the United States? I don't know that she has 10 houses. That's what the person said. But it's just a weird place we're in as a society right now.
Yeah, I think that's as much as you need to say about it. Moving on to another subject before we get to break here. The portal, as you know, is open.
I need a portal sound effect.
The portal. You do need to get a portal sound effect.
Okay, I'll find one.
Portal.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
That's our portal.
How is that the portal?
No, I'm kidding.
Portal.
I'm going to find a portal sound effect.
The portal is open, and with one elbow and all, Carson Beck has hopped in it and has already found a home. He's headed to the U. He has already made that decision. Now, Scraper, you gave me some TMZ information about this, why he decided Miami, or part of the reason at least.
I'm pretty sure his NIL payment's going to be pretty good.
Right.
The other thing is he's dating one of the Cavender twins, and they go to Miami.
Now,
so
the Cavender
it puts them
twins
in the same place.
May be familiar, may not. They play hoop, or one of them plays hoop still, at the University of Miami. Weren't they at UNLV at one point?
No, Fresno State is where they started.
That's
yes,
right.
I called several of their games. So
there you have it.
And now they've become famous beyond all wild imagination.
Now the one that's still hooping, I think one has retired from hoops and one is still actually playing. Had a good season last year as she transferred back to Miami.
They were both pretty good players.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't discard that. They were both really good, and when they played at Fresno State had a good team, and they were the two best players on the team. So they can play, but the fame that they have gotten because of YouTube videos? Did they even have TikTok when they started, Scram?
Oh, yeah.
You know more about it than I do. I mean, we went to New York with the basketball for a non-conference game, and in Times Square, there was a huge, gigantic billboard of the Cavender twins. It was unbelievable.
They're New York Times Square worthy?
They were.
Their Instagram and TikTok, they big, dog. They got a lot of advertising.
Someone on the chat, I can't see the name right now, about the facial rec in stadium says MLB has required stadiums to upgrade cameras with facial recognition. I know because I installed some at Petco.
That's what's up. That's good info.
Yeah,
right
that
there.
is good.
That's
good
I'm glad to know that.
Those cameras are hidden because I have no idea where those cameras
I think
are.
that's how they want.
I'm gonna be walking around with my face covered from now on.
I don't think they'll let you in.
You're gonna be the guy who knows where all the cameras is. So we can't locate his face. He knows where every camera is. He's like looking.
I'm gonna borrow one of Kanye's outfits.
I think that'll get you flagged faster.
I think it would. Oh, who's this guy? He's got his whole face covered right now.
Look at this Kanye West impersonator over here.
Let's get to break on the other side. The Big Five is finally here. More Gwynn and Chris.
Ben and Wood.
4:36 is the time. We welcome you back to Gwynn and Chris. Chrisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scraby. Another 90 minutes or so with you here. Big Five is coming up in just a moment. Quick reminder, San Diego State back in action tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. If you want to tune in and watch the Aztecs at New Mexico.
They gave us one of these early start games again.
Really early. New Mexico is undefeated in the conference, 5-0. So this will be a big test for Dutch and the boys. Take a little closer look at that in the 5 o'clock hour. But right now, Scraby, if we don't get started with the Big Five, he gets angry.
Thanks.
So let's go to traffic first.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Get a little busy on our roads. East 52's been hit with a crash near Genesee. It's over the right shoulder. Northbound 15 to the 163, a crash over the right shoulder. And in the North County, northbound 15 past Velacita, there is a collision involving a couple vehicles. That's over the right shoulder. We've also got this collision in middle lanes, westbound 78, right before Nordall Road. And Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Do you guys ever do the thing where you are typing and you're not looking at the computer, and then you look and you realize that you were typing in all caps except for the first letter of each word, so you were like reverse capitalization? Well, I just did that, and I'm leaving it, Tony. So you're gonna have to read it like that.
He's gonna be yelling at us. As
well, except for the first letter of each word. Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know. It's just. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay.
Number 5.
But it's really annoying because then you have to go delete the whole sentence. You have to retype the whole sentence.
Yeah, and we're going to go over and you're going to be mad, so you better get going.
He's on you.
We're 17 minutes away.
Hey, you never know.
All right, let's talk about my favorite guy, Zion Williamson.
Oh, there's number 5. You really wanted to get to this one.
I didn't have anything else, but yes, I did want to get to this one. New Orleans Pelicans forward Zion Williamson has been suspended by the team for 1 game for violating team policies. Basically, I will spare you the article. He was late to the team plane, and he's not going to play. So he's already missed 27 games this year, and he missed one on Wednesday, and he's going to miss this game tonight. And I got to think this is like one of the many straws that the Pelicans front office is really annoyed by. So, Chris, my question to you is, I've been seeing a lot of Zion trade rumors. What kind of value do you think Zion has with the baggage that he brings?
Before I get to that answer, I just want to say that I read somewhere that Mike McDaniels, the Dolphin coach, has sent him a plane ticket and invited him to show up to the game and pay only a $100 fine. He thinks the punishment was way too severe.
Okay. Are you going to answer, though?
Yeah, I'm going to answer. I think he's really valuable. I know that sounds crazy.
It does.
But I think he's I think it's a risk worth taking. If you need a player to get you where you want to go, I mean, all he's going to really have to be healthy for is those 3 weeks of the playoffs. I mean, you got to hope he can be ready because he is that good. I would trade.
That's
I mean,
really
the Bulls are so bad. I'd be more than happy to trade a couple of good players to bring him in. I think it would make the team a lot better. But I don't think he'd want to play there. It's got to be a team that is really in contention, and I think that would pique his interest. And, you have a better chance getting him out on the floor.
I already know Tony's going with this, but Tony?
Yes?
What kind of trade value does Zion have with all the baggage that he has?
A whole lot of baggage.
I have a follow-up question for you guys when Tony's done.
A whole lot of baggage, but a whole lot of upside. And I think many teams that are in the league know where he's at. New Orleans Pelicans franchise has not been one regarded as the place for young talent to develop. I mean, Anthony Davis got up out of there. I can't remember who they picked before. They got him up out of there. Brandon Ingram, who was traded to there from the Lakers, trying to get up out of there. So, I mean, for as much as don't get me wrong, Zion is completely out of pocket, coming in out of shape, being hurt. Sometimes you can't control injuries, but certainly your weight is contributing, we would think, to some of these injuries you're having. But Chris is right. When he is healthy, you remember really fast why there's so much noise around him. Because he is uber talented. He is a matchup. He's a mismatch at any point. It doesn't matter who's guarding him. And so I think if he is out there, a team is going to take the shot that their organization can get him right.
I definitely agree that someone's going to take a shot, but isn't your best ability your availability?
It is indeed.
So you're going to pay a guy a max contract and hope that he plays more games?
Well, first of all, he's not going to get a max contract.
Well, he's already got it.
Well, I'm saying that's the rookie max contract. There's another one that comes up here in a couple of years that he can be eligible for. Now, if things don't change between now and then, he's not going to get that. So,
okay.
I think he has to figure out, and listen, sometimes for young players, it takes a while to figure out what it takes to be elite at that level. And I think he's still in that process.
All right. You guys are fair.
Number 4.
Fair and balanced. I've once heard before. This comes from one of my favorite airline news websites. Yes, I go to airline news websites. It's called viewfromthewing.com. And I saw a definite topic.
Viewsfromthewing.com.
Does it talk about charter flights with no food, drink, or bathroom service?
No, but it did say that some airlines now are going to, under 500-mile flights, they're not going to serve drinks at all. You're gonna have to
swallow
do your
your
calls. You're gonna have to swallow your spit. You have to do your flight attendant call button on flights like 500 to 2,000 miles. You're gonna get one drink service, and then you have to do the same thing because they don't want to give. They're wasting a lot, I guess, when they hand out these drinks and people don't drink the drinks.
Are they making people take drinks?
Well, no. Like when someone says, "Hey, I'll have a soda," and then they don't drink it.
Yeah, there do be a lot of liquid in those bags when they
I
get
know,
there walking down the aisle.
I know. But anyway, apparently Delta Airlines is going to integrate their in-flight entertainment with DraftKings, one of our favorite companies that keeps popping up.
That keeps getting over on people. Now it's going to be in the airlines.
There are laws in place going all the way back to the early 60s that prohibit in-flight gambling. But
oh my God, it's going to be nuts on these planes.
Wait, what are you going to be able to gamble on?
Here we
Whether
go.
Sylvester Stallone's going to kill the character or not?
No. So, I see what you're saying. So, for now, in-flight wagers will be done with Delta points. You can win a bunch of Delta points. But do you know why they want to do this?
I know, because it forces you to get a Delta card or something.
No, it forces you to get a DraftKings account, and then they're going to capture your information, and then they're going to send you email after email after email until you bet real money. So, as I typed in my in the doc, is DraftKings?
That's a Darth Vader.
Tony, you're up first. Is DraftKings an evil organization? Evil business?
I mean, this is
diabolical.
It feels diabolical. I mean, considering they've been hit over the head a couple times for their practices.
We talked about a lawsuit yesterday, a class action lawsuit against them.
Yeah, man. DraftKings is certainly they're drifting.
They're
drifting
Drift
into
Kings.
they're drifting into the what did they used to call it? Numbers back in the day.
Yeah.
They're drifting into that lane over there. It feels like.
Yeah. Chris. Is DraftKings an evil business?
No.
Whoa.
We're stupid. Here's the thing. You know P.T. Barnum is? Scrape?
Yeah, he was the circus guy,
Name
right?
ring a bell? Yeah,
Barnum
circus
and
guy.
Bailey?
P.T. Barnum and Bailey, yeah. Over 100 years ago, P.T. Barnum said famously, "There's a sucker born every minute."
Yes, there is.
And DraftKings is just following that strategy. If you didn't sign up for DraftKings, if you didn't use your Delta points to bet, if you didn't buy into it, DraftKings would go away. But you do, and they're not going away. So I don't blame them. I can't blame them.
It's very much like the conversation we have about streaming. Like, if we all just band together and said, you know what? We're not getting it. We're not doing it. We want it on this channel. they would come, but they know we would never do that.
Winning a bet in Delta points doesn't hit the same way.
That doesn't even feel good.
No, I'd be like, okay, great. I got 1,000 points, which will get me like maybe 10 minutes of a flight somewhere.
But that's the thing, is that it also then forces you to deal with Delta more often. Like, you can't transfer those points anywhere else.
Yeah, that's true.
And now, next thing you know, you got a Delta card. You're getting points in your Delta card, too.
And then DraftKings is emailing you saying you get $200 free if you sign up with 50. And then you lose your house. That's how it goes, Tony.
Exactly.
P.T. Barnum might not have been right. In this day and age, there's easily a sucker born every 30 seconds.
I was about to say, I think PT would be, he feels some way of being in this time right now, seeing the suckers that is out there right now.
PT would be one of the richest people in the world.
Number 3.
Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, like so many others around the league, saw the Patriots try to skate the Rooney Rule with their initial interviews, so Aaron Glenn denied New England's interview request one day after receiving it for a head coach, according to Tom Pelissero. He reportedly will interview with each of the other 5 teams who have head coaching vacancies. The Patriots on Tuesday fulfilled the Rooney Rule, which requires teams to interview at least 2 minority candidates when they interviewed Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton. Both offensive-minded coaches have been out of the league in recent years and are not viewed as serious head coaching candidates, which makes people angry because they're not even trying. It prompted media members, fans, and those around the league to view New England's process as a sham. Chris, has New England's process been a sham?
Well, am I reading this right or listening to this right? Aaron Glenn turned them down for an interview?
They asked for an interview. He said no.
Okay, so how is that their fault? I mean, if they're trying to get
what I'm saying is that
candidates and they're turning down the interview request.
Go ahead.
I kind of see what Chris is saying. Like, I see.
If you ask Aaron Glenn to interview and he says no, that's not on you that you're only interviewing non-serious candidates.
Well, I think it's more of that they've already chosen their guy.
These guys are don't want to be their quote, for the.
Yeah, no, I know. I get what Aaron Glenn is saying, but
no, I'm asking. Is that what we're thinking? Is why they are saying no, or why Aaron Glenn said no?
I think he's saying no because he has better things to do at this time than interview with a sham organization that's already chosen Mike Vrabel as their coach.
I got you. This is what you think.
I mean, that's what I think. You interview Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton, who haven't been in the league this year.
That's a great
but they
just to get it out of the way.
But they wouldn't have interviewed Pep Hamilton, if Aaron Glenn would have come in.
We don't know that.
Well, we don't. But anyway, the Rooney Rule has served a purpose. Has it solved the issue? Look around the league. Of course not. But at least the NFL can pay lip service to the fact that they're trying to include more minorities in coaching positions. And that's all that is. I mean, if you want to complain and say, well, they don't have enough minorities, the NFL can say, well, we have a rule.
Yes, they can.
Well, we got the rule. Sorry.
We got the rule. But yeah, I mean, it's all lip service.
All right, Tony, do you think that the Patriots process has been a sham?
I don't think we should pick on the Patriots because God knows they're not the only team going about it this way. So, I mean,
right.
Yes, it probably is a sham. I mean, especially when we're talking about Byron Leftwich, who, hadn't been in the league for a couple of years. What was the other one? Pep Hamilton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, exactly.
I shrugged my shoulders.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we should pick on the Patriots alone, though.
All right.
There'll be, whether the six jobs open?
Yes.
At least 4 of those will give these type of interviews, and then it will move on.
All right.
And then 5 of the 6 will be filled by white guys that have had jobs before. Who knows this?
Because I think the big outrage is that they fired a black coach in Gerard Mayo
after 1 year.
After 1 year with a terrible team and no support. I think that's where people are.
It's quite obvious. But as I said before, in this case, they actually can come up with a good reason because they have a dude that is already, by pretty much as everybody's standard, is the dude. Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Vrabel. He's had success in the league. He got fired from a team he shouldn't have had no business getting fired from. And so it'll at least mask that oversight because he is such a good coach and deservingly so.
Number 2.
Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson underwent surgery yesterday after tearing his right Achilles tendon again, the team announced. His recovery time and return to play status is uncertain. He's likely going to miss significant time during the 2025 season, the Browns said in a statement. Sources have told ESPN's Adam Schefter that Watson's recovery is expected to take at least 7 months. So, Tony, do we see Deshaun Watson
Deshaun Watson? Who's Watson?
I was trying to combine Watson and starter in the same.
Watson.
Do we see Deshaun
Watson?
Do we see Deshaun Watson be a full-time starter in the NFL again, Tony?
No.
I agree.
Listen, a double tear of the Achilles before it even heals the first time? I don't see that. Listen, we see how guys decline after a one tear and full recovery.
Yeah.
Kobe was never the same. Isaiah Thomas was never the same. I mean, most of these guys who have it, they might have a little bit left, but they ain't. But to tear it twice, I look at this probably like tearing your MCL or ACL twice. Like these are parts, ligaments, tendons that you just
they don't get stronger after you tear them.
No, they don't.
Chris, do we see him as a full-time starter again in the NFL?
It's a long shot. I mean, seriously, it just is a long shot now. And, the karma for Deshaun Watson has not been good.
Oh, it
and
hasn't.
The beat goes on. So that's all I got on him.
I'm
not going to go off on one of my wild
I need to stop Chris because he will go.
Yeah.
He will go.
Yeah.
Number 1.
I will.
After some uncertainty, the Tampa Bay Rays now are going to support a $55.7 million city plan to repair the hurricane-shredded Tropicana field in time for 2026. The Rays co-president said in an email to the St. Petersburg chief administrator that the team wants to clear up any questions about its support for the reconstruction. While we had been open to considering a scenario in which the city bought out of its obligation to rebuild the ballpark. Oh my gosh, a pop-up. The Rays support and expect the city to rebuild Tropicana Field in accordance with the terms of the current user agreement. Now, I don't really have a question for this, but Chris?
I do.
What?
Okay, what's your question?
My question is, Tampa seemed very reluctant when we last graced this story.
Yeah.
They have had a change of heart. I feel like part of this, this is my question, I wonder if part of this is from Major League Baseball. Remember, Major League Baseball wants to expand, but they can't expand until Oakland is done what they're doing and Tampa has a situation completed on their side. You wonder if, Mr. Commissioner was like, hey, man, we can't be doing, you guys need to figure it out because we need 2 more teams.
Yeah. You guys need to figure it out. It feels like Rob Manfred's kind of left them out in the cold a little bit.
He's probably tired of dealing with these 2 cities that have probably been a pain in his rear end.
Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, Tampa, lucky to still have a franchise. The way they support them down there, I mean, that's a bad situation and kind of always has been. That's all I got for you.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
welcome.
That's it for the Big Five. Ween. We get back.
We return.
I believe Tony is going somewhere. I don't really want to reveal where you're going. So Tony will be gone, but Chris and I are going to be back. We still have the countdown at 5:40, which is the top. What is it? The things we want to see in sports in 2025.
Things you want to see most, yes.
So we'll update you on that. And then Michael King, arbitration news. We'll talk about it next on 97.3 The Fan.
Excuse me. Yes, we are indeed ready for the happy hour, the happiest one of the week. Finally, a Friday program. Chris Ello. Finally a little darkness falling here in sunny Laramie, Wyoming. As I glance out the window of our 5-star hotel. Matt Scraby is back in the Odyssey Palace studios. Tony Gwynn Jr. will be back with us at the bottom of the hour for our countdown, which, as Scraby mentioned before we went to break, top 5 things we are looking forward to or hoping for in the 2025 sports year. So stick around for that. Opening drive of the Cotton Bowl, Texas took the ball into Ohio State territory and got 4th and 3 and did not convert. Guy was open, underthrown, down around the ankles, couldn't make the catch. Ohio State took over, and it was like clockwork. Just right on down the field, and on into the end zone they go on a run by, what'd you say his name was, Scrape?
Judkins?
Quinton Judkins?
Something like that.
Anyway, 7-0 Ohio.
Anyway.
Yeah, 7-0 Ohio State's already out in front. Each team has had one possession in the Cotton Bowl.
I have, when you're ready for it, I have free agency news that you're not going to be happy about. So tell me when you're ready.
Unless they're, who's the latest player going to the Dodgers or the Giants?
No, they're not going to it's actually someone going to the AL East. But
that's better than the Dodgers or the Giants.
It's true. We've been talking about Jeff Hoffman here. Maybe that would be a good move, but he's going to be a Blue Jay for 3 years.
Back to the Blue Jays.
Back to the Blue Jays.
I'm pretty sure that he started with the Blue Jays and then was traded to the Rockies in the Troy Tulowitzki deal.
You're right. I'm reading that right now. He did.
And Jeff Hoffman might have been the best player the Rockies got in the Troy Tulowitzki deal. And then he didn't pitch all that well for Colorado. Then again, who does? And now that he's he went to the Phillies last year, he was an all-star. So good for Jeff Hoffman. He gets a pretty good chunk of change. Does it say whether he's going to start or not?
It does actually say, I was just reading that. It says it's not clear if they're going to make him a starter, but he does get bonuses for each 60, 70, 80, and 90 innings pitched. So if he is a starter, he gets more money.
Okay, I get that. That brings up an interesting thing to me. If you were an athlete, and I mean, you're not. Let's not put you at the highest level, or I'll be the athlete. We're not at the Juan Soto level. We're not at the Patrick Mahomes level, or whoever the case may be.
What level are we at?
We're at a solid, everyday, professional player level. Like we're established in the league. We start at our position, but.
Mike Yastrzemski.
We're not a superstar. We're not a superstar.
Okay.
And then you go and make a contract where you're Mike Yastrzemski. If you play 120 games, you get this much money. If you play 130, you get this much. If you play 140, etc., right? This is what you just said Jeff Hoffman did, right?
Yep.
Innings pitched. The thing with that is you could be the best player you could be, but it's still not your decision how much time you get to play.
Yeah,
That's what
true.
worries me. If I was at 119 games and we're going into the final weekend of the season and we're out of it, and all of a sudden I don't find myself in the lineup for 3 straight days, I'm going to be pretty ticked off.
Well,
because I'm going to know darn well what that's all about.
You got to think that also, like, the team. I mean, the team doesn't want to not use him in situations because then they're going to have to pay him. But I get what you're saying. Like, it's all incentive based, but you're deciding how much I actually play to earn those incentives.
I mean, look, if Mike Yastrzemski, or in this case Jeff Hoffman, if you're not getting the job done, then you're not going to get the bonuses, right? But to me, I don't think performance bonuses should be unless you're Zion Williamson. should be based on the amount of games you play, because I don't think that's in your control. Now, if you want to base it on actual performance, like if Jeff Hoffman has an ERA under 3, or if he has a WHIP under 1.1, or et cetera, that seems to make more sense for both sides. I don't like these other bonuses where guys are getting. I mean, look, Mike Evans, they had to throw him a pass.
Yeah.
Right? For 6 yards so that he could get $3 million.
Yeah.
And you know what? We talked about it on Monday. If that pass had miraculously, I'll admit, but had it been tipped up in the air and intercepted, and the Saints run back and they win the game and the Falcons win the division, just because they're trying to get Mike Evans 6 yards, that would forever, be like the worst thing that could ever happen.
Part of me thought on Sunday when I was watching the whole thing was like, do you think ownership is kind of ticked off that they went back out there to get him $3 million? They were happy because he didn't get it and then he got it. And then, yeah you're right. The risk was there. But I think incentive contracts are good. I do, because it does motivate you. Like for someone like Jeff Hoffman, he's probably already talked to them about his role, right? He's not gonna go into it just being a closer.
Well, they're not going to make him a starter if all he has to do is get to 60 innings. I mean, he can do that in 3 starts.
That is true.
He's obviously going to be in the bullpen.
Yes.
I don't know.
I guess you're right.
I think it makes for little weird situations. That's what I don't like about it.
I can see it.
I mean, a manager, it puts the manager in a really bad spot because he wants to play the guy. But he's got maybe a general manager or an owner telling a general manager that we can't let this guy play because it's going to cost us too much money. I mean, it's just really it's cruddy.
Cruddy is a good word.
I just never have liked it. And, I mean, you're right about the NFL. I mean, there's got to be some guy standing on the sidelines or up in the press box who's actually employed by the team, who is adding up the yardage that Mike Evans has as the game goes along, so that everybody on the sideline knows that he needs 6 yards and is running over to tell the coach, hey, he needs 6 more yards. And the coach is like, hey, I need to win a game. I'm trying to think of the next play. You're telling me I got to get Mike Evans 6 yards. Anyway, that's my concern.
Greg Camarillo, friend of the show, former NFL wide receiver, he told me once that players going for incentives is a thing amongst players. Like, players understand, because he was explaining to me that one of the wide receivers on his team when he was with the Dolphins, I believe, needed 3 or 4 catches to get above an incentive. And going into that game, the player's plan was to get him those catches. And it may have not been the coaches calling those plays, but players pay attention to that, and like Baker Mayfield did, ran back on the field and did it. So
yeah, well, good for Mike Evans. I mean, it was a wild celebration. You would have think the Buccaneers were going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
the way that whole team celebrated him getting that $3 million.
Yeah, no one's going to get any of that money. Just
no one
Mike
else
Evans.
but Mike Evans. Right, number one. Number two, Mike Evans doesn't necessarily need it too badly. So, I think he's made enough. But, all right, that's the way it goes. I get it. That's the way it goes. We mentioned it last hour. Tomorrow morning, the Aztecs will go to Albuquerque, a really tough place to play. And there's a couple reasons why it's a tough place to play. Number one, they have great fans. I mean, they are loud, they are rabid, they are downright mean. And, so the atmosphere in the pit, one of the more famed buildings in all of college basketball, is as good as there is in the game. Number two, you're dealing with altitude in Albuquerque. And they have this ramp, Scraby, because the pit is actually dug down in the ground. So you walk in at street level, you got to go down a ramp, which is about 100 yards long, then go all the way down on this ramp to get to the floor. And let me tell you something. If you forgot something up at the top of the ramp, you're like, forget it. I'll just leave it up there.
It's that steep?
It's steep, and I mean, you got to walk out of there after the game, and it's like I got one walk up that ramp in me. But so anyway, the altitude is a part. But here's the main thing that makes it hard to win at New Mexico. They're good. They have a good team, and they're undefeated in the conference. And so, it's going to be a great challenge for the Aztecs tomorrow morning. It's an early start, 10 a.m. It's early for both teams, so I don't see big advantage either way. You'd hate to have to play at that time, but if you want to be on CBS national TV and get that money, sometimes you have to, do what they tell you to do. And so that's why the game is being played so early. But I'm looking at New Mexico. They already beat UCLA this year, earlier in the year, probably before UCLA became delusional. So that was a good win. They've also gone 5-0 to start conference play, and they beat Colorado State. They haven't played the top of the league yet. They did beat Nevada in overtime, but I think the Aztecs can beat them, but it's not going to be an easy one.
I think the Aztecs can beat anyone. They've showed us that this year. Maybe not anyone, but they can beat New Mexico.
Well, hey, they beat Houston. Houston's a top 10 type team. I think that to win at Boise should give them a ton of confidence that they can win on the road. But I just know in this conference, trying to win back-to-back tough games on the road 1 week apart, that's going to be a big-time challenge. I saw Joe Lunardi's bracketology today.
What's he got?
And he's got the Aztecs as number 8.
Okay.
And I will just say that if you're going to be number 8, then the best thing you can do is lose a game or two and fall to number 10, or win a game or two and get up to number 7 or 6.
Yeah, it's not a great spot.
8's the worst spot you can be because you have a tough game in the first round against a 9, and then if you win that one, you always play the number 1 seed next. And that's just really tough. So
yeah, let's keep an eye on that one.
It's early in the bracketology process.
It is. It is. Very early, actually.
Yes, I don't want to end up in the 8. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, the Padres have not come to terms with Michael King. We know that. What does it all mean? Scraby, our baseball expert, will explain after traffic.
These things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Scraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. 4th hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Sasquatch.
So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
these things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Scraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Sasquatch.
So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
These things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Scraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Sasquatch.
So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some. All right, welcome back. 5:19 is the time. Scrape, I got to give a shout out to our old friend. Talking about my friend Jack Townsend.
Oh, hey-o.
Our golfing partner from the Aztec Alumni Classic.
Yeah, unfortunately you missed when he came in.
I know.
Right before
I wasn't
the break.
there that day. That's why I want to give him a shout out. I know he's out there. And, he would have been proud of me the last time I played, Scrape. I had 8 over through 9 holes, which is -1 in bogey golf.
Oh, okay. At least you gave me both scores. I'm okay with
I gave you
that.
both scores, but I was pleased with my performance. I think I'm getting a little better and better. When are you going to be able to get back out there? Are you? I know you did a little rehabbing today. How are you
actually,
doing?
today I went and got a checkup and to make sure everything's good. My shoulder is getting better, I will say. For the first, they told me I was going to be okay after like 3 months. That was not true.
That was a pie in the sky.
Yes, it was, because I thought, okay, by the end of summer I'm going to be golfing, but my shoulder feels pretty good. I think I'm going to start golfing more and more now that it's better.
Good to hear. First quarter is over in the Cotton Bowl. I will say it like this: it's only 7-0 Ohio State. because they look like they're way better so far.
It should be 21-0 or something.
Seems like it, just the way the game is going. But Ohio State punting it away, and Texas will get the ball deep in its own territory, trailing 7-0. Or will it be deep in their own? Oh my goodness! Fumble, picked it up. Texas ball. All right.
Oh, you're ahead of me.
Am I ahead of you? Why is that? I wonder.
I don't know. He just fumbled. He just fumbled.
He just fumbled on your picture?
I was like, what is he talking about?
Oh, yeah. I was just predicting what was going to happen. Wow. I didn't know.
That bounce was perfect. It was right to him, basically.
If it didn't bounce to him, the game would have been basically over. So, Texas is trying to hang in there. 7-0.
Do you think, before we get into Michael King, do you think stripping a ball from a running or from a ball carrier has never been better? I feel like everybody knows how to force a fumble now, and everybody
That's
on
the only
every
thing they
single
practice.
play tries to force a fumble.
No doubt. Number one. Number two, you see guys miss tackles entirely because they're trying to force a tackle.
I see these huge punches, and I'm like, are they punching the guy, or are they, punching the ball?
No, they're just trying to get the ball out.
I feel like
they're taught. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in NFL training camps, but I know that this is what they spend a ton of time on now.
Oh, yeah.
Getting the football loose.
Makes sense.
And, I mean, you'd rather give up a first down and, by taking a chance at getting a fumble than, anything else. Because if you get one fumble, you're in good shape.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right. Michael King is not yet a Padre, but he is a Padre, really.
Yes.
That's kind of the way I would describe it. He and the Padres have not yet reached terms on a new contract. As a result, King could become not a free agent, but a arbiter situation where the Padres would give their figure of 7-point-something million. Michael King would give his figure of 8-point-something million. And the arbiter would decide which way it goes. Right?
If they get to arbitration, because
if they get to that,
as we were talking about before, they could still agree on something up until the arbitration. Which, because my first thought when I saw this, that they're $1.475 million apart, and I'm like, just pay the man. Like, what are you doing? Making him go to arbitration to get a couple more $1 million. But Tony, and you talked about it earlier, it made sense. Like, maybe they're talking about something longer term. Maybe they are, going in a direction where it's going to lock up Michael King for a little bit longer instead of just this final year, because he only has 1 year of control, and he will be a free agent after this season. So that's why.
So if you sign him to a 1-year contract, then you're basically turning him into a free agent at the end of next year.
And then but you can negotiate with him now, and you can bypass the final year of arbitration if you give him a new contract. I know Tony said that he took a 2-year deal to bypass arbitration, so it happens. These deals do happen.
Right.
And I just want people to, because at first, again, I thought, what are they doing haggling over $1.5 million? But it's not really that. It could be many more things, like trying to work out on a longer-term deal.
But the bottom line is there's two things that are probably scaring a lot of Padre fans who only read headlines.
I'm one of those.
Right? Because a lot of people only read the headline. They don't really find out about the story. One of the headlines is going to get you to believe that the Padre organization is in flux because of this lawsuit, and as a result, they could someday move from San Diego.
Yeah.
Right? You could think that if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, because that's not
the bottom
true.
line is that's just not true, according to the sides in the dispute.
Yes.
The second one is that you read Michael King and the Padres do not come to terms.
Yeah.
If you don't read beyond that, you think, oh, no, we just lost Michael King? What?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is you didn't lose him at all, and he's got nowhere to go either. He's going to be a Padre.
Yeah.
The question is just how much is he going to make? But
yeah.
It's just one of those weird things to me.
It is very strange.
Because my first thought when I saw Michael King and Padres don't reach a deal was like, oh, no.
I
But honestly, there is no oh no. It doesn't. It's just going to be a matter of the salary.
I got some DMs with that question, and so I knew it was a topic on people's minds because it does.
Right.
It definitely does make it seem that way. And I admitted this on the Scraby Show last night. Like 6 years ago, when we were doing a show, I thought I knew what arbitration was. I didn't know what arbitration was, and I was explaining the wrong thing. But I've taken the last 6 years to learn what arbitration does, and it's very complicated. So what I'm saying is, if you didn't know what arbitration meant, it's okay.
Yeah, you have to basically go to summer school, and it's about 3 years of college to figure out arbitration.
To figure out
they don't make
contracts.
They don't make it easy on anybody. They
and then
really
you got
don't.
Super 2 designation, and you got Rule 5 drafts, you got amateur drafts, You got it all. You got it all, Chris.
They got a lot of stuff. All right, don't forget, NFL playoffs begin tomorrow. If you just tuned in, Jalen Hurts did clear protocol. He will be in the lineup for the Eagles. On the other side, Jordan Love, is off the injury report with the elbow injury, so he'll play for the Packers. So that's good news for both those teams. Chargers wide receiver Quentin Johnson is good to go for Saturday, tomorrow against the Texans. Commanders get a big piece. Cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, one of the best in the game, is back after missing a couple of games. He'll play against Tampa Bay. So there's a couple of NFL notes to tide you over. What'd you think about my pick of Pittsburgh to beat Baltimore?
You know,
I'm dreaming probably,
no,
but
I mean,
I got to take a shot.
I think that the Steelers losing 4 in a row, I think things are on the downturn, obviously, but they could win. I mean, the Steelers have had Lamar's number, and he's only had one good game in recent memory against them. And TJ Watt is going to be available, I believe. And
yes, he is.
Yeah, that defense can be very, very good.
Well, we'll see. It's going to come. I mean, look, if the Steelers are going to win the game, they're going to need to get what they got all season, until the final month, which is a bunch of turnovers. The Steelers were beating people because they were plus 2 or 3 in turnovers every game. And then that stopped, and they stopped winning. So
if they can get
they're going to need to go back to what you just said. They're going to need to punch a couple of balls out tomorrow against Lamar Jackson and company.
If they're going to get the focused George Pickens, they could probably win this game, but you never know what you're going to get. It wouldn't hurt if he could
catch the ball.
You never know.
How many has he dropped in the last month? What is he doing?
He dropped 3 passes last week alone.
I know. I mean, George Pickens, come on. All right. Anyway, Chargers, Texans tomorrow, and Steelers, Ravens tomorrow.
On Prime, Steelers, Ravens.
I know.
Make sure you
I'll
know.
have to listen to the game on the radio somewhere. The old time one. I'm going to dial it up on an old transistor.
I love listening to football on the radio. When I drive home after the days that we have football, I'm listening to the broadcast.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. It is fun. The theater of the mind, it still has not been replaced.
I always found it, whenever I was a kid, I always found it amazing that when someone said, he's going in motion left to right on your radio dial, I was like,
yeah, right.
Oh,
what?
I get it.
I don't see him.
Yeah.
I don't see him. All right, we'll take a break. Our countdown is next. It's a good one. Stick around for more Gwynn and Chris.
Craig is back on Monday.
All right, 5:35 is the time. Chris Ello, Mr. Scraby, Tony Gwynn Jr. going to be with us here for our final segment of the day, which is a countdown, the first of 2025, looking ahead to some of the things that we're looking forward to, we're hoping for in the 2025 sports calendar. Of course, the NFL playoffs start tomorrow. One quick key to each game for you, Scraby. Chargers, Houston, very simple. The Chargers don't charger. If they don't, they really can't lose this game.
Yep.
Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Pittsburgh's got to come up with be at least +2 in turnovers to have a chance.
Agree.
Denver, Buffalo. I don't really have a key here because I just don't think Denver can win no matter what happens.
The key is for Josh Allen not to turn over the ball.
Well,
that's
man,
it.
He hasn't this year.
No, he's been pretty
all.
good. He's been pretty good.
Yes. Green Bay and Philadelphia. I think it can be interesting to see how the Eagles' run game goes without probably having Jalen Hurts. And will the Packers be able to? I mean, Hurts is playing.
Yeah.
But he can't run. They can't put him out in danger like that.
True.
So we'll see if Green Bay can take advantage of that. I think Washington, Tampa Bay, again, it's that rookie quarterback thing. Jaden Daniels, he's been great, just fantastic. Can he do it in his first playoff game? And Minnesota and the Rams, I think the key there is Matthew Stafford versus the Vikings defense and Brian Flores. Brian Flores messes up a lot of quarterbacks with blitzes, but the Rams can beat you bad on a blitz with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. So I think, how the Rams handle Flores' exotic defenses. And Sam Darnold's got to wake up. He can't play like an idiot like he did last week.
No, he was really bad last week.
Yes. All right, let's go to traffic and then gets to today's countdown, Scrape.
From the 855, get Ross traffic.
who need, somebody to step up at the catcher position. And as I've said before, I believe Campusano has the tools to do it, and I'd love to see him do it and have a great first half. And that could only help the Padres. So I'm going to, number 4, Campusano is in the All-Star game.
That's a good one. I love that one.
All right.
Number 4,
All right.
Scraby kind of hit on it, and I'm glad that he didn't go any further because I want the 2025 NBA All-Star game to return back to what we saw in the 80s and 90s, which is high-scoring affair, but at least a full quarter of, like, I don't want you to score, I'm trying to score on you, defense, offense type deal. And get back to that, making that game one of the, it was must-see TV, Chris, in the 80s and 90s when they got together.
It was. There was so much great talent on the floor, you couldn't miss the game. But now they let that talent thrive too easily.
Yeah, you can't let it thrive.
Not that much.
Mine is an NBA. My number 4 is an NBA one. The NBA needs to figure out the 3-point line. And tonight on the
in
Scraby
2025, that's not gonna happen this year.
I know, but I want them to make steps towards it. On the Scraby Show, I have come up with ways to fix the 3-point situation in the NBA, and I'll present that at 6:20. But they got to figure out something because I watched a game the other day, and it was a lot of threes, a ton of threes, and I was kind of bored. So when you're paying attention to how many threes they shoot, the game is not as fun. So there you go.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right.
Number 3.
My number 3 relates to Tony's number 5. I want Cal and Stanford to get their heads out of their where and come back to the Pac-12, which would solve what you talked about, Tony. I mean, not only does the Pac-12 need a couple more squads, but it would be great to have, some traditional powers like Cal and Stanford. I understand they're not football powers necessarily, but in every other sport, especially Stanford, is always somebody to contend with. But it would just give the Pac-12, the West Coast presence it needs.
Yeah.
It would give them 2 more big-name teams. And I understand, because I've talked to Ziegler, we've talked to Ziegler a million times, and he's a Stanford grad. And Ziegler always gives me this malarkey about, well, Stanford doesn't want to, they're too arrogant, they don't want to play in a conference with Fresno State. And I'm like, well, just get over it then. And too bad, because that's the way the landscape is now. You can't tell me that you would rather travel to Clemson, come home, travel 2 weeks later to Virginia, come home, travel 2 weeks later to Miami, come home. There's just no way this is working for Cal and Stanford. So please wake up, guys.
Number 3 on my list is Lamar Jackson gets over the hump finally and wins a Super Bowl this season.
All right.
At very least gets to a AFC Conference Championship game. He has this huge monkey on his back in terms of can he improve his postseason performance. And I think part of the reason we don't talk about Josh Allen in that way is because he's given us some postseason moments. I mean, it took one of the greatest games ever for him to lose that Kansas City Chiefs game that would have otherwise had him going to a Super Bowl. So I think I would like to see this happen for Lamar and him to get that one Super Bowl. Remember what he said when he got drafted 30th? He was pissed off. He said, they're going to get a Super Bowl out of me. I would love to see that happen this year.
That's a good one. Do you guys remember when Steve Young finally won the Super Bowl and he said, "Someone get that monkey off my back"?
I don't remember
It was pretty great.
That was against the Chargers, though. I remember that.
I know. I didn't want to bring up that part of it. My number 3 is very selfish. I just need the 49ers to get back to the playoffs, man. I can't stand it that they're not going to be
you're not going to
playing.
accept just that. You're not going to accept that.
He sure isn't.
Are you kidding me? If they make the playoffs and get run in the first round, you're going to be happy?
Okay, let me amend this. You're right. I want to see the 49ers get back to the NFC Championship at least. So they were so bad this year. So bad.
Number 2.
My number 2 is selfish, just like Scraby's number 3. But I don't need even as much as you do, Scraby. I just need the Miami Dolphins to win a football game in the snow against a good team in December. And I don't care how many teams they score 60 points against at home in September and October. But when it gets right down to it in December, on the road, in tough conditions, man up for once and win a game, because I haven't seen them do that. It doesn't seem like for 15, 20 years.
That is a fun one. That's such a Chris one.
This is 2?
Yeah.
Number 2 is to see the San Diego Padres hoist a World Series championship. That's number 2.
That would be awesome.
That's number 2.
Wow, okay. Yeah, something ahead of that.
Huh? That would be phenomenal. Obviously, we've talked about it as if it was closer at times than it actually has been. But I can just close my eyes and I could see it. It would be phenomenal.
Manny out there holding the trophy.
Absolutely.
Passing it around.
That's my number 2.
That's a great one. I feel like that one's going to come up again. My number 2 is they got to figure out streaming. Sports has to figure out where they're going to be, because they
just got to get rid of it for sports. That would be better.
I knew Chris was going to say that.
For us old guys.
They like ESPN and Disney, and
I do feel like there's too many options. Can we narrow it down so we can just all have the same ones?
Yeah, we got Peacock, we got Paramount Plus, we got Prime, we got Netflix to watch these things now. It's insane how many different places we have to go.
I do feel like this is going to start working like TV eventually, where some of these streaming companies are going to be like, our best pocket is this particular segment or type of TV or type of streaming, and then some will just take the sports lane and run with that. I'll be happy when it gets to that day.
Yeah, I just want to know where I'm going, because like Tony and I were talking about the playoff games yesterday, and we didn't know what channel they were on, and it's the Ravens and Steelers that's on Prime for the weekend.
We got a Paramount Plus too, I think, on one of those too.
I think it's simultaneous.
Okay.
Well, the Charger-Texans game is a game that is on CBS, but I believe, because I'm thinking about this tomorrow when I'm still here in Laramie, I want to watch the game on my phone. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch it on CBS streaming anywhere.
Why?
Because when CBS streams playoff games, they only stream it on Paramount Plus, which means that you either watch it on TV, your DirecTV cable or whatever, or you have to subscribe to Paramount Plus.
You have cable though, right?
I do, but that will not allow me to watch CBS.
That's crazy.
On my phone.
Because you pay for it.
I know.
That's crazy.
I'm not happy, but I mean, it's a playoff game I don't care that much about. But I don't like the fact that, the NFL still makes it so hard for us to watch certain games.
You can go to freefootballgames.com, Chris.
Thank you.
You already got your website.
I got a sneaky one I may have to try, yes.
Number 1.
All right, number 1 for me, Tony's going for the whole trophy. I'm going for something that'll help us get the trophy. And I want Sasaki to sign with the Padres. And I want Sasaki to sign with the Padres for a few different reasons, not the least of which is that if he doesn't sign with the Padres, we on this show are going to have to put up with a Padre fan base that is going to think the sky has fallen for good.
And I'm not ready to.
I'm not ready to deal with you people. So let's get Sasaki signed, and hopefully, good things can happen after that.
We're 5 days away.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
I'll save it.
Wow.
I'll say this one is extremely selfish. I hope that the Mount Carmel Sun Devil girls soccer team wins the CIF championship.
Oh, that would be nice.
Put it out there.
I'm putting it in the ether right now. I would love to see it.
Aren't they ranked in the top 50 in the country, state?
I think something like that. They're definitely top 20 in the state, according to Max Prep, and they're number 1 in the county, according to Max Prep. 10-2. I would love to see it. Now, the thing is, they're gonna have to, in order for me to see it, because the only way I'm gonna come back from Arizona is if it is at a CI final. I leave the week the playoffs start, so I won't get to see of it, but I will come back if they get to a final.
Man,
Tony,
timing is so bad.
Tony, I feel so close to you in this situation, I will offer to sit freezing up in the stands during the first 2 rounds of the playoff game and help root your team on so that they can make the finals. I'd be willing, and I think Scraby will come with me.
Sure.
I really do. I think he would come with me.
There's a chance it'll be closer to Scraby than it'll be.
I know they play everything in North
Definitely
County.
there. I'm good with that.
That's true. Yeah.
My number one is Padres win a World Series.
Yeah,
I want to see it. Tony and I reminisced on the fact that we both thought they were going to win it last year and how disappointed we were when they didn't. So I want to see it this year.
Yeah, I never get there either. I will never be like, even in my head, quietly to myself, oh yeah, this is I can't do that. But last year it got to a point where I was like, man, this actually might happen.
Things are happening, bouncing right for the Padres. They get a triple play to clinch a playoff.
Craziness.
Everybody already knows all this. All right, good countdown, guys.
Yeah, it was a good countdown, guys. Very good. Hope you enjoyed that one. And every Friday we pick a topic and count it down. I liked you guys going for it all. Although, is Tony being too selfish, Scraby, by wishing for a Mount Carmel soccer championship over a Padre World Series?
No, because he said both. And I
Yeah,
guess
but he had the Mount Carmel soccer championship #1, though.
I mean, he is a little closer to that situation. I mean, he's close to the Padres situation, but he's really close
Just
to
think
the
how
Mount
happy
Carmel.
this city would. Just to think how happy this city would be, and how happy this city was when the Padres went up 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody just assumed at that point that the series belonged to the Padres. Whoever could have seen what happening?
No one, Chris.
I'm almost afraid to repeat it, like for fear that it might happen. If you say it again, it might happen again, like a horror movie,
like Candyman or something.
Yeah, right.
You say
24
it 3 times.
innings without scoring a run. Oh, you said that, huh? Well, we're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
24 innings.
Karma.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. My fault. All right, still 7-0. Ohio State leads Texas. Texas is hanging in thanks to a bunch of Ohio State penalties that keep stopping their drives. But Texas can get nothing going on offense.
Nothing.
Enjoy the NFL playoffs this weekend. We're back Monday to recap it all and get a new week underway. So should be some fun. So have some fun. And think about all those folks in LA and how you might be able to help if possible. For Tony, Scraby, Chris Ello, the Chronicles are next.
It's true.
Stick around. Stick around.